I know I asked you this yesterday, but can I stream this, please?
Well, I guess if everybody else is recording it, sure.
Woo!
I'm not, because I'm feeling lazy tonight.
All right, let's go.
If anybody in this room has a right to be lazy, it's Norden and then me.
Let's go, Senatesburg Slammers.
All right, let me put it on public.
Oh my
Real
god,
quick.
this is sad.
All right, Senate Super. Do I have this thumbnail? Okay, I got the thumbnail right. Senate Super Slammers. Let's fucking go.
Oh, so you changed the name? I see.
Well, no, I don't want to get demonetized.
You're stealing my fucking
Haha,
name.
loser.
How
Do
dare
it
you
correct.
want to
my
get
name.
paid for your work?
First you steal my memes, now you're
Steal
stealing
my
my
work.
memes.
You're not doing any work.
How dare you not profit off of Leo's hard work
Okay, I'm gonna hit the button in 5, 4,
and
3,
my
2,
name?
1, and here we go.
Okay, so real quick before we get fully started, would you stop it? Okay, so here's how this is going to work. We have a very, very special room for the peanut gallery if they would like to type while these people talk. It is CC Autism and versus VC Context. Thank you, Baichi. Very cool. I do appreciate you setting up that room. This room will be deleted after the debate's over. Here's what's going to happen. So, because Jar and Creepy have been polite and mature enough to agree to come to this VC and hash whatever this issue is out, we are going to respect that. First of all, thank you both for actually having the balls to do that, because we have people in this room that still won't. The Peanut Gallery is going to keep quiet. You guys are going to keep your mouth shut. You are not going to unmute. You are not going to ask questions. You are not going to tag anybody in your VC chat text. Period. I don't care if you think either of them are making the dumbest of possible argumentation. Not your circus, not your monkeys. You just go to the circus to watch the monkeys, and then you will go home, and you will tell people about how much you enjoyed watching the monkeys. That's what you are going to do. Now, I am here as acting moderator, as best as I possibly can be, because I like Creepy, and I like Jar, and I think Daft is screwed up, but I also think maybe some of this stuff requires a little more looking into before some harsh criticisms are made. I am hoping this conversation, debate, will lead to a mutual understanding of sorts, and perhaps something can be met in the middle. Perhaps. If not, well, both adults and neither of you are my kids, so at the end of the day, that's a you guys problem. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. Who tagged me? Which one of you? Oh, it was Baishi tagging everybody. Thank you, very cool. Anywho, since this is apparently being streamed, I'm going to ask, of course, for no gamer words, as much as we possibly can. And you two will have to decide, by the end of this, if you want to open up discussion after the main debate's over, to the Peanut Gallery. As the Peanut Gallery wants to talk, they're welcome to, but also they are not to get stupid. If that is given, and that has to be applied to both, so both of them have to give consent to that, and if not, then they don't, and you go about your business. So what I'm going to allow is you guys are going to have your opening statements, and we're going to go from there. I'm going to ask you guys to not get too heated if you can help it. I know that these things cannot be fun. And then we're going to go over to, because Creepy has a literal list. So, Creepy, since you are the one with the issue here, I'm going to give you the opening statement first.
So, the first thing I want to put out there is that if you want to criticize Daft, there are plenty of things that you can potentially criticize Daft for. I'm not opposed to criticizing this person. What I'm opposed to is intentionally misinforming people about Daft and accusing him of things that he is not. And the biggest liar on YouTube and YouTube's biggest manipulator, or something along those lines, that's just not it, Chief. And I've watched these videos, or rather, I watched the most recent video and skimmed through the other two, and I can't help but come to the conclusion that they were made in bad faith, that Jar either willfully or neglectfully went over the subject matter, and even by the standards he put forth in his own video, Jar just doesn't live up to them. So I plan on hopefully explaining that a little bit further. It's just, I don't mean to poison the well, but there's a lot that I have an issue with in this video. And I think the best way to potentially do that is just to go through my notes here, timestamped, and just see if we can figure out what the hell's going on.
Okay. You have anything else to say on that for opening?
Nah. I think that's
All right, Jar, on to you. Anything to say for an opening?
Well, I would like to make a few disclaimers. One, I'm at work, so I might have to mute myself when people come by, although I do work the night shift, so that rarely happens. But if it does and I mute myself, that's probably the reason. I also don't fully know, aside from this being about DaftPina, I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but when I use terms like Daft, I didn't say DaftPina is the biggest manipulator. I said master of manipulation. And as for the new one, the biggest liar on YouTube, I mean, it's a clickbaity title. I mean, what YouTuber doesn't use those? Like, obviously, John Swan is a way bigger liar than DaftPina is.
Okay. Oh, give me 30 seconds because I forgot something very important downstairs, and I will not be doing this without my eggnog. So give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Yes. I know. Old man forgot something.
Old man forgot. Old man forgot. Oh, we got 42 in the chat so far. Hope you guys are gonna have a good time. I guess I don't know. It's not gonna be that big of a super slammer. I don't think. I don't know. But yeah, no, there's apparently some big issues that Creepy has with Jar here. So we're gonna see what those meaty details are. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, Lamau. Yeah, Lio really wet. I forgot. I thought you said I wouldn't be talking. Yeah, I know, I did say that. I lied. I am going to be talking a little bit. Okay, when Boomerman isn't around, I'm going to be talking.
I think
Yes.
I think keeping, just some conversation on when the debater isn't here, so it's not just looking at JPEGs on the screen, is okay.
That's crazy, guys. Yeah, I know. So anyways, yes, this is about Daft. This is about Jar's video about Daft, or videos lack thereof.
I am not rolling downstairs, doggone it. I'm right here. Anyways. Okay, so Creepy, why don't you go ahead and lead with the first thing you got? We're going to take this by the numbers.
Okay, so before we even go into, any of, the videos, there is a minor point that is mentioned that I feel is important to go over first. You bring up this image of Mion from Higurashi that Daft traced in the most recent video. Why would you do that?
Why would I do what? Bring up? Well, it was from my last video. I made a mistake on that because I wasn't aware.
But why would you bring it up in the first place? What is the underlying point of bringing up this decade-old image?
Well, at the time, I didn't know it was a decade old, so that's why I brought it up.
But then you brought it up again, and then still defended it. So why would you
cleared up the misinfo? I was just like, oh yeah, he was 15 when he made this, so
before he made the YouTube channel?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that at the time, so I cleared up that misinformation. I've already admitted to that.
You didn't. What you said in your video is that it certainly weakens your argument. No, it removes the argument. It makes the argument null. Just say fucking sorry. You fucked up really bad. You try to portray Daft as a weirdo for doing something that literally every teenager does. What happened to I don't hold people accountable?
The problem was he said he admitted to not really doing his research when I already admitted to that mistake in a pinned comment. I already full on admitted hey, I admitted to that, but the point wasn't. I finished. The point wasn't that Daft is a weirdo for drawing that. The point was about the whole Daft complaining about what other people draw. But now that I know he doesn't draw that, I wanted to clear it up in the next video, and that's why I brought it up again. In fact, I do plan to go back to the older video and edit out that part because I've been thinking about it more, and that's what my plan is to do. But I mean,
super bad faith, and you're doing what amounts to taking something drawn by a teen and
I didn't know at the time. I will admit I fucked
up. But how that begs the question: where did you find that image? Because the actual call out post that started spreading it again more recently, that contains a date in the picture. So, and I noticed that it's cropped out in your video, which meant that
I actually got it from someone else's video on Daft, but then later.
And so you didn't do your own research.
Well, there was no responses to it. I mean, watching videos is a part of the research, but
Right,
like, I mean,
but like when you're accusing him of something and you just take this guy at face value and regurgitate
well, there
it
was
in
no
your own video.
responses to that video at the time. That's why I decided to like fix it in a comment.
But
And
finding the original like post, which is still up, wasn't
it
like
wasn't
in
the point
your.
where-
Gentlemen,
Guys,
take your time, take your turns, don't talk over each other. We're not going to get anywhere that way.
Okay. It just like screams to me of laziness.
I mean, it was a long video, and like no one responded to that one or said anything in the comments. And then like later, Neko responded to that, so I made sure to link it, added in the pinned comment. So like I already know I messed up on that point. So like I do agree with that one, but like I think I've already acknowledged it.
There are multiple times where you go into something that's like way far into Daft's past to make him look bad today without it like really going anywhere. And I'm using your logic here because in your video, in your words, you said that you don't like digging into people's past to make them look worse in present day. That it's just like you say that you don't do something and then you do it repeatedly.
I disagree with that because in the context where I said that, I was showing that from his Jaden video, Daft hasn't really changed with his Odd Ones Out video. He's still doing basically the same mistakes. And on top of that, he was bringing up what James did even longer. But then he'll say, but in that same video I was covering of the Odd Ones Out one, he said, what was it? Oh, yeah. Oh, Jaden already accepted my apology. Like, I guess he forgot because his apologies don't matter. But like, he's criticizing the Odd Ones Out for an apology he made that wasn't accepted. It just seemed weird to me.
Okay. We'll get into that a little bit later. Now that I've gotten just my main point of I think that Jar's poisoning the well quite heavily. Let's just start going through the video and we'll see this kind of manifest as we do.
Mm-hmm.
In the first 5 minutes of the video, Jar does a goofy voice.
Oh no, like the goofy voice.
I don't know why you aren't taking this seriously. For like someone that you described to be your like former friend that you're like tearing down, it just doesn't seem like you're taking it seriously. And I
gotta let him address it.
I mean, like if I take it seriously, if I don't take it seriously, I mean, like I want to have fun in these videos. Like, yeah, I did a goofy voice. I don't see what that has to do with any of my arguments.
The second thing you do is bring up the Chili Panda drama.
Uh-huh.
But do you know that Daft and Chili Panda are cool? That like we were hanging out with them at VidCon in 2019?
Yeah. Like
so why bring it up?
I mean, he still does the same actions as
That's
he does now. Like, he apologizes, but he still does like the same actions to other people.
Do you have an example outside of the hidden hypocrisy video?
Example, I mean, he stretched the truth with Antoon saying he was questioning the genitals of a minor. He was attacking young Dawn's family, making very strange implications about the guy. He constantly cuts things out of context. He's context.
He cut out of context for young Dawn.
Uh-huh.
What did he cut out of context for young Dawn? Is young Dawn not
something
like
I didn't go over? Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was something I actually found out more recently. This was actually a very recent discovery of mine. At 13 minutes 29 seconds in the video, he says that Dawn doesn't believe in therapy, but like I looked closer at the comment and he says Dawn actually says, I don't believe it's useless, but rather unnecessary. So he's not saying he doesn't believe in it.
Did you watch the young Dawn video?
Yeah. I mean,
do you know what
Guys,
the context in the quote is? I'm not looking for a further explanation. I just want to know yes or no. Did he watch it? He said yes. Second question. Do you know what the context was for the therapy content within the original video?
To be fair, it's been a while, so like refresh my memory.
Do you know who Andrew Tate is?
I know who he is. He's the human version. He looks like a human me.
He was explicitly endorsing Andrew Tate and saying that Andrew Tate had the right idea when it comes to therapy. Now,
yeah, but like
Andrew Tate, by the way, the only purpose of like reacting to Andrew Tate and giving him positive press is to further a very insidious message that Andrew Tate has been doing, which I go through in my video. But Andrew Tate does things like beat women with a belt, which is something he got kicked off of Big Brother for. Andrew Tate is being investigated for human trafficking currently.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And he's like, it seems pretty crazy to me that anyone would like react to Andrew Tate and start saying that things that Andrew Tate is saying is right.
Sure.
Now you're right. So Daft isn't like that was the point.
You gotta let Jar respond.
Okay.
My problem isn't Daft calling out young Don for things he actually did. My problem is that my problem isn't that Daft is calling young Don for things he has done that are true, like supporting Andrew Tate or saying things that are homophobic or a bit incel-y or more weird things like you're not light skinned, you have a melanin deficiency or whatever the fuck he said it was, or
and that the sun doesn't cause cancer.
Call him out for that stuff. Like, I just didn't agree with what he was like saying about the dude's family.
I mean, there is a clip of him saying that the wife does 90% of the work with the kids, despite the fact that he's a stay-at-home dad. So that's a joke. If you want to, I have the clip.
I interject here for a moment. I'm going to get this back on point. Jar's video wasn't defending Andrew Tate. Jar's video was,
It just removes the context.
I don't even think it's so much...
Because like in Daft's video, he was criticizing young Don for agreeing with Andrew Tate and then making a joke that he would never go to therapy. That would suck for his wife and kids because he also doesn't believe in divorce and he's supporting the pro-rape guy.
Here's the thing, all right? I'll give you an example that you can understand and I will understand here. And this isn't to defend Jar, but this is because I think we're getting a little off point here. You know who John K is. I know who John K is. Neither of us like John K. I don't think anybody in this call likes John K. John K is a scumbag. He's a child predator multiple times over. However, that does not mean that John K is wrong about everything concerning his opinions on animation. So, if this is an instance of mushmouth,
he's been a pretty shitty animator pretty recently. So
I'm not arguing that. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm saying that just because you agree with a scumbag on one specific thing doesn't mean you agree with the entirety of that scumbag's library of stupidity.
Right. But what would be the purpose of platforming that scumbag if not to strictly endorse their very harmful message? Because young Don doesn't disagree with Andrew Tate like anywhere, really. The video is very much pro Andrew Tate. And like that's the criticism Daft was leveling. Sure, he made a joke, but that is the underlying criticism. It's not like Daft isn't criticizing people who are scared of therapy. He's criticizing this person in specific for a comment he made agreeing with the pro-rape guy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's in the video, but that context is removed to make a much harsher criticism that I don't think is there.
But at the same time, you're also expecting Jar to really understand fully everything about this guy. Because again, I know who you're talking about.
He's the one making the video.
I know, but we're not talking about specifically Andrew Tate. We're talking about whether or not Jar's video defending young Don is about whether or not Daft's criticisms are valid. It's not so much about whether or not Andrew Tate individually is a scumbag. That's why I think it's getting a little off track here. That's why I'm asking you to try to bring it back to that point.
The Andrew Tate is the context, right?
Okay,
he removes the context and says that Daft is criticizing young Don for being against therapy. And that's not the case. Daft's criticizing young Don for agreeing with Andrew Tate.
Do you have the script?
I mean, we can go watch the video.
I mean, I just want to know, like, because again, I haven't watched everything in the
I
world.
have.
So, okay. So my question is, what did Daft say specifically in this case? Like, you can actually pull up the transcript if you want. You don't even have to like watch the whole video. In fact, let me go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll be proactive in this. Just give me one moment. I'm gonna definitely.
Oh yeah, well, while Lio was doing that, I got a $5 super chat. This is a question for Creepy. Are you aware that DaftPina lied about Jaden Animations and other creators that he criticized? I'm pretty sure we're gonna get to that later.
I mean, it's a rabbit hole. But
Yeah.
the thing that I will say on that is that Daft is very sorry that he made that video, and he regrets it to this day. That video's been gone for half a decade. It was a very embarrassing thing that happened. And honestly, he's been trying to put it behind him since. But, you know, here I am.
Okay, so I have the transcript here.
Okay.
Typing kid extremely quickly. Well, get more into that later. Inspired by legacy YouTubers such as Woozy. Come on, we're here. Known for his animated stories, music, podcasts, and recent reaction channel, which just clips from his Twitch channel over the years. He's grown liking to giving his thoughts on a lot of things, for better or worse. Let me just let you know where I stand on therapy. This is where he's quoting the dude, or the dude shows up. I don't like it. I don't believe in it. I would never go to it. It's understand the great mind of Donald. We split up his life in 6 wonderful sections. So take away from Joe for the first time. Hi, I'm Joe. The Spirit is Joe. Oh my God. Hi, I'm Joey. I make videos about stuff. I'm in this one. It's not mine. Dav told me about this guy. Just had to hop on. Don loves to spend this time on Twitter more than the average person. Every day he loves to grace us with his thoughtful and very insightful tweets. If you ever want to hear thoughts on anything, rest assured there's a tweet that probably definitely, because he cannot shut the heck up. Such as him telling us that your body builds a natural tolerance to the sun, after going so far to say you can't get cancer or wrinkles if you just build up exposure. So let me check this here.
We're expressing a wide array of strange beliefs.
Just to one of his reaction videos about the creator Andrew Tate, quote, therapy is for losers. Not sure if they tell you now, but Don hates therapy and believes trauma does not exist. Not only will he never go to therapy ever again, he went like twice and says it didn't work. He also says he didn't believe in it, which is not a totally scary thing if his wife ever suggests they go to couples therapy.
Yeah, it's not, because he's endorsing the pro-rape guy.
Can you read
like, that's the joke.
Hold on, let Jar talk. Let Jar talk. Hold on.
Can you read the comment up around that time that Don put up on screen? I can send you a screenshot of it if you want.
Hold on, let me see here. Let's see here.
Sure.
The pro-rape guy.
It looks like Andrew is specifically mentioned 4 times in this video. You don't really go too much from what I'm seeing into how much of a scumbag he is, but he is definitely listed as one from all we saw from the intellectuals in this video, from Andrew Tate, who's been investigated for human trafficking and rape. Fresh fans who think a woman's... Oh, Lord.
Yeah. That's the joke. It's a little scary, right? That he doesn't believe in therapy and is explicitly endorsing the pro-rape guy.
You're not going to read the
fucking
comment?
weird.
You gotta let Jar talk. There's one.
Okay, do you want me to grab the comment for you, Leo, and like put it in chat?
Sure.
Sure. I'm not looking at a comment. I was looking at the transcript of Daft's
video, and I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah, let's see here.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing that the guy is unhinged, but it's just, oh fuck, I missed it. It goes by he flashed it so quickly. Hang on, let me slow down the. Oh wait, I have the video on double speed. That's why. Okay.
Yeah, and as people in the chat have pointed out, you guys gotta work on the talking over each other, please, for the love of God.
I do apologize. There is a delay on Discord, so sometimes I'll like start talking, or I'll take a pause to think about something, and then on Jar's end, it looks like I've stopped, and that creates a feedback loop. So that will happen sometimes, as nature of latency on Discord.
Are you on Discord, the app, or the browser, dude?
The app.
What? Something's wrong with your latency. What the hell?
No, that's just... It happens from time to time.
All right, so Jar pulled this up. He put it in my DMs for some reason, but he says, "This is young Don. I don't believe it's useless, but rather unnecessary, as there are superior ways to cope with one's problems, ranging from spiritual guidance to lifestyle changes. Everyone I know who goes to therapy has been going to years, which seems excessive to me. I believe I shouldn't take that long to get past an event. But if you believe in it and it worked for you, then great. Godspeed, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what I'm trying to say is he says he doesn't believe in it, but then he shows this comment as soon as he says that. And I was just like, why would you show a comment that contradicts what you says? Like, I'm sure there's other places where he says he doesn't believe in therapy, and I'm sure he agrees with other people who don't believe in therapy. But it's like, why put up a comment that contradicts what you're saying?
God, I'd have to rewatch the video to get context. But as we've already seen, you are willing to remove the context of Andrew Tate from the criticism of therapy.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure.
You make it look like he attacks his kids.
Can we please take turns here?
Guys.
Take turns, doggone it. I'm starting to get fed up with both of you.
Who wants to go first? Should I flip a quarter?
No, just go.
Go ahead.
Okay, like, the thing is, this was the most recent thing I found. Like, I didn't even like go over this in the video. I just added it to the pinned comment recently. And like, I don't see what, like, I'm not saying young Don isn't unhinged or whatever. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the things Daft did was cut what Don did out of context or go after his family. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't see how Andrew Tate would add to that, but I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. My point is he didn't cut young Don out of context. You don't show any examples of it. Like, I mean, you point out a joke, by the way, a admittedly edgy joke about his family, but when you add the context that he's supporting the pro-rape guy and saying that he refuses to believe in things in, like, you know, the sun causing cancer, therapy, science, and shit like that, it gets a little scary. And that's what the joke was about. And so I just don't understand how, like, you can look at this joke and be like, he's attacking his family, but also endorse, like, controversial artists like Antunes who do things like drawing George Floyd getting shot in the head, like, in the time. Like, is that kind of humor not okay? Or
okay, so the thing is, okay, so are you done with your point? Can I go ahead?
Yeah. I'm done.
I'm just making sure. The thing is, like, I can't. Do you want me to go over like a 5-minute section of everything bad young Don has done? Like, the video was already pretty long, and like, this is what I hear from a lot of DaftPina fans. Oh, you didn't go over everything bad that or this person has done, and like,
that's not my criticism, though. My criticism is that you intentionally left out Andrew Tate out of the joke Daft made, which made it look like he was attacking his kids unprompted, or his wife. When the joke is he's supporting the pro-rape guy and doesn't believe in therapy. That's some big red flags. Oh no.
I mean, I didn't get that from the video. I could rewatch it. Like, I did send Leo this.
That's why we went into Andrew Tate and explained his history, like, right after.
Wait, you worked on that video?
I didn't explicitly work on that video. I was talking with him near the tail end of it, so I get the production and I know its history. And then I also made my own video on young Don that goes even deeper into some of the more crazier, downright harmful shit that he says. He's a pretty, like, radical person, dude. And I actually have some curated clips. Let Jar
respond.
Sorry,
I'm not saying he isn't, like, unhinged or anything like that. My problem is, like, he's doing personal attacks on the guy's family, saying, like, oh, he wants 5 kids and 20 grandkids minimum. Sound like his wife doesn't have a choice in the matter. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean by that? Like,
he doesn't believe in divorce. That's the joke. That's the joke. Oh, look, it's an edgy joke. That's the joke. He doesn't believe in divorce.
Guys.
It's hard to tell with Daft because he has, like, no tone with his, like, humor or anything.
Yeah.
And, like,
it's a tweet.
No, this is what Daft said, not a tweet.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I remember it. Yeah. I'm sorry you don't get Daft's humor, but, like, it is a joke. That's not him being like indictful. Oh man, she's fucked. She has no choice. The joke is, and this guy doesn't believe in divorce, and we're making fun of him for not believing in divorce.
I don't see what
Is
saying
that like
You gotta
okay.
let Jar respond, creepy.
Sorry.
I don't see what. Can I go ahead?
Yes, you may.
Okay, I don't see what saying that his wife should be taking notes because this doesn't sound like an option. Has to do with divorce. Like it would probably be the opposite. Like he would divorce his wife if she didn't want to have a ton of kids, or he's
but he
implying
doesn't believe in divorce.
Like he made a tweet about it, sure, but like you still are forced by the court to eventually sign the papers.
Right. Realistically, that is true. But we're making fun of his belief with an edgy joke. So, like, obviously, in the real world, that's what would happen. But we're making fun of his cartoon fantasy world, which, as you agree, is pretty unhinged.
Okay, let Jar respond.
I don't see the attempt at humor there, saying like this doesn't. I hope his wife is taking notes because this doesn't seem like an option. Where's the attempt at humor? I don't see it.
I mean, I'm sorry you don't get the joke.
Okay, but I don't think.
Okay, so we're obviously at a crossroads on this one. Like we're going to be going in circles for the next. We're already at the 30-minute mark.
Right.
Let's move on to the next point. And I will say this again: the chat is getting a little bit frustrated with you, creepy. You gotta get a hold of yourself, dude.
I'm working on it.
You gotta get a hold of yourself.
I'm working on it. I appreciate it. Okay, let me go back to my notes here. We'll get a better subject. I guess that's just agree to disagree.
Okay, what's the next thing on your mega list?
Let's see here. So, let's go back to the beginning of the video, which I think is just a clear-cut example of like lazy editing kind of like fucking you over here. In the beginning of the video, you at the first time you mention at the beginning of the video at 2:53, you mention that DaftPina got some odd ones out backlash, and then you show the hidden hypocrisy video as an example. Obviously, that's a more contentious video with a more controversial number. I wouldn't call it like horrible by any means, but that's not the point. Let me just finish because I gotta explain a little bit of this video here. At 3:05, which is roughly 13 seconds after that, you mention the odd ones out. Once again, you show hidden hypocrisy as an example. At 3:09, you show the likes to dislikes on hidden hypocrisy while claiming Cafe Chaos had an even worse reception.
No, you're misunderstanding that. So my editor did put up the wrong video, and I put up an arrow saying, "Oh, my editor put up the wrong video." Like it shows the title along with the likes and dislikes. And then when I said it had an even worse reception, no, I said I heard it was even worse, but I personally thought it was better. I'm not saying it had a worse reception. I just heard it from.
But you do say that though explicitly. No. You said that it was received even worse. And if you look at
hold on, guys, hold on.
Sorry,
gotta let Jar respond.
Go back and rewatch the video. What time stamp did you say it was?
3:05. But there's also there's a point near the end where you also remake this point and say that the reception was worse. Or I don't know if the exact words are reception or was received. Either way, I feel like that's pretty interchangeable because we're both describe like public perception.
Could I please rewatch it? So it's from 3:05 to what time?
3:09.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself and wait, 3:05 to 3:09. Okay, I'm just going to mute myself for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah, the chat is the chat's it's telling you, creepy. You gotta slow down, dude. I know we're all on caffeine right now.
Yeah, I rewatched it. I said I heard it was even worse, but I personally thought it was better.
Right, you did.
Yeah, like I said, I heard it was even worse, but I personally thought it was better.
But isn't there like... Okay, sorry. I'll let you talk. My bad.
Yeah, that's what I said. I just played the clip. I said, which I heard he made another video on the odd ones out. Yeah, that was a mistake on my editor's part. That's why I put up the thing to correct the mistake. I didn't catch it until like almost last minute. Because like sometimes hiring editors can be hard. Sometimes, like one time they snuck in interracial porn into one of my videos, which was like deep in the corner that I didn't catch, and luckily blurred that out just on time. But yeah, that's why I put up that thing to be like, okay, this is not the right video.
I'll give you a point on that.
I would be more than happy to add to the pinned comment in case people were misled by this.
The reason why I bring, am I allowed to talk?
Hold on a second. Are you conceding on this one, Creepy, or
no? I just been letting him talk. I was leading to a greater point.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So there are 2 points. I will go later down into my notes to go find that in a second. But I think we can both agree that the implication from your words and what you're showing, even if you do admit that what you fucked up and showing the wrong thing, implied that it was worse, right? That it was received worse. That you heard it was worse. Because
I heard was even worse, but then right afterwards I said, but I personally thought it was even better. And while it does show the likes and dislikes, the dislikes are invisible, so you can't really tell if it got a lot of dislikes or not. That's why.
Actually, okay. So wait, do you realize that the likes to dislikes you show are from hidden hypocrisy?
Well, that's why.
And
that's why I pointed to the other video.
Hold on.
I literally have text on screen saying my editor put up the wrong video. It's this one.
Right.
It shows the title.
Do you know what the likes to dislike ratio is?
Mostly positive. Mostly positive.
Guys,
like 99%.
I was trying to say something, guys. Just count it for a second.
Well, I step away for a few minutes. I come back and there's still people talking over each other. If this does not stop, I'm going to mute people and make you take turns. And you're both adults, and I'd rather not have to do that. So be concise, be direct, and let the person respond.
Please.
Jar. We're responding to what Creepy said about whether or not something is the most poorly received versus the better poorly received and all that. Creepy says that your information is inaccurate or perhaps dishonest, and you're going to need to address and respond to that, please.
So it's my turn?
Yes.
Okay, just making clear. Yeah, I said I heard it was even worse, but I personally thought it was better until he started to nitpick James's comment. That's that was an editing mistake, but that's why I put up the text and the arrow to try to fix the editing mistake. The problem with that editor is he takes forever to do anything. Should I have gone completely covered it? I guess so. Like, the reason why I started hiring editors is people didn't like my editing, and they told me I should start doing it. And I've pretty much, and while I do agree this is a constant criticism of mine, and I should do better, I wasn't trying to mislead people with this. And I did what I could do, like fix it. Should I make it? Yes. But I'm not trying to make the implication that it was worse. Thus, I heard it was even worse. That's it.
Okay. Is that it?
But
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Let me just go down here, cause. Okay, just gotta read it here because I have a little bit of a transcript.
Finally, some peace and quiet.
I'm sorry.
Any regrets?
Just a little bit. Any regrets? No, not yet. Not yet.
Look, all I know is when I was a kid and I would ask my mom, what do you want for Mother's Day or your birthday? Mom would always say, peace and quiet in the house of obedient kids. And I never understood it. I do now.
Congratulations, old man.
The chat agrees.
Who the fuck cares what the chat wants?
We'll just wait for Creepy.
The chat wants blood.
Okay. At 31:09, Jar brings up Quinn and explains that they worked together on the cafe reskin video, and then asserts that it was almost as bad as the Jaden Animations video, which I think we can both agree is factually wrong. Then you assert that this is a character flaw with Quinn, and don't elaborate on that, while asserting that you could talk about her at length. So is Quinn bad? Or is she only bad because she helped Daff with a video that had perfectly fine reception?
Would you mind if I rewatch that portion?
Yeah.
Okay, what time, Sam, did you say
31:09.
31:09, okay.
See, isn't this much better?
Thank God.
Good job, old man.
I got the jitters. I'm working on containing it. It is my fault.
I can tell.
This is why I script things and talk in like edited content so I can make my thoughts more concise and
Have
less.
you tried cocaine?
Oh my God, Baiji, no!
Okay, let me go ahead and
That's a funny
clarify
joke.
let me go ahead and clarify to the chat, like while they're looking back through that. Creepy has been how do I put this? Nervous / excited about this for about 2 days now, and has been constantly talking to me about it. So I'm not particularly surprised at the 1 million plus interruptions. So yeah, I'll just tell you that right now. I'm not particularly surprised.
There's a lot to go through, and a lot of it's interconnected, and my brain keeps forming connections.
Real quick to crack screen. This is not modern gladiator games. If you want that, you can go watch Armored Fighting League. Go ahead, Jar.
Okay, found the clip. I misunderstood, so I'm going to watch it now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There will be blood shed.
How many say should? Is frame rate back?
Oh, I wish.
I miss
I
my
wish.
best friend.
If frame rate ever came back, we should immediately stream it.
I have tried to get it back so many times, but he always blocks me.
Dude, I can't believe his dad blew up and rage quit all the way.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah, I
What?
found it. So I said that the cafe. I didn't say the cafe cafe chaos reskin one was almost as bad as Jaden one. I said he responded to a comment which was from a previous video, the hidden hypocrisy one, which was almost as bad as the J Animations one. So like I can understand how you could have misinterpreted my point, but no, I made it very clear.
I disagree with you that anything is anywhere near as bad as a Jaded Animations video.
Well, that's a separate discussion in of it itself, but I was clearly talking about the hidden hypocrisy.
I think it's important to know that the Jaded Animations video. Sorry.
Yeah, my point is, my point, we can talk about which is, if it's almost as bad or not later, but my point wasn't that it was almost as bad as the Shameful Reskin one. My point was that it was almost as bad as the Hidden Hypocrisy one. I say previous video, I say responded to a comment from a previous video, and I put up the Hidden Hypocrisy one on screen at 31 minutes, 36 seconds.
Okay. So what about the other part of the question?
What other part?
About Quinn.
About Quinn? Oh.
Jar brings up, like, I know that the Jaded Animation thing in there, I was only explaining what was happening in what you were saying, at least from my perspective. But the question was, you assert that this is a character flaw with Quinn, and then don't elaborate on that.
Oh, okay.
While also explaining you could talk about this person at length. So, like, is Quinn bad? Because you seem to think that she was fine when she was making a video on Daft, but now that she's helped Daft, she's like a bad person that you could talk about at length. Is she only bad because she helped Daft with a video that, by all accounts, has a perfectly fine reception?
Okay, well, what do you have to say about that, Jar?
Okay, I was waiting because I didn't want to talk over people again. So, I do say I could go on at length about them, but then I say, check out Band of the East. He goes over this. So, like, that's why I link his video because, I mean, he goes into more detail over there. But the character flaw with Quinn is that she'll criticize Daft for the Jade Animations one, but then help him with the script where he didn't apologize for anything he got wrong. from the hidden hypocrisy one. And I just find it a little weird that she's working with him, even though he's doing things that she called out in a previous video.
Okay, so first, let's go into those flaws. What do you think are the flaws with the hidden hypocrisy video?
I mean, that was my first video on Daft, which that's why I didn't go over it in that video. I said, hey, I made a previous video about
it's okay. I just want you to explain current day, right now. What do you think is the problem?
He clearly cropped out things out of James's comment, misrepresented a lot of what he said strange things like he had a wish to voice a black guy. Like, it was just such odd stuff. Like, he says, oh, the punchline is the race of the person, but like, if you actually, but the clip he shows, it's just him saying, I won't say the race of the person because it doesn't matter, Asian. And he says it 2 more times, but the last time he says, I won't say the race of the person, Canadian. Like, it's the subversion of expectations. I can at least explain that joke, but then like, he'll like, there's a lot we could go over, but like, if you want me to go over more, I would be more than happy to. But like, I have about a huge video on it already. I didn't know we were going over this. I would have had more points ready. I was mostly rewatching my latest video, not that one. But I mean, if you want me to go over more, I would happily go over more.
Okay, I think I got enough. So 1, James's greatest wish is to voice a black person. What I don't think you realize is that was a joke. Just for point blank, it was a joke. Because we were talking about like some of the more racially insensitive comics James had put out, and some of the reception to that, we made a joke that was a bit more edgy. So there you go. That isn't like a biting criticism. That isn't meant to be taken seriously. We don't literally think that James, his greatest desire in the world, is to worship the almighty black man. That is not a joke. That is a joke. God, sorry. I'm just
Woosah.
Just a second. Can I? I don't quite
recall. I think Jar wanted
to
respond.
Okay.
Where's the humor? He wished to voice a black guy. Wow, what a knee slap! What a knee slap!
There it is.
You know where that comes from? Like, okay, that comes from the section Daft edited out where James took a Dangle's last straw with James. Now, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't fully remember, but like, apparently Dangle's final straw with James is that he wanted to take up a gig to voice a character who was black. So, like, and people, like, now it just seems out of context because they edited out that section of the video. So you say it's a joke, but it has to do with a previous point, like, oh, he got his wish to voice a black guy, but like, they said it in like a negative, like, as if that's a negative way, and like, you say it's a joke, but like, I don't see the attempt at humor.
You literally like Antunes. Like,
no, I don't. I think the dude's a douche.
I mean, yeah, I know you think that he's a douche, but you also defend him all the time. But also,
all the time, I think he was done dirty because like a lot of misinformation was spread about him. Like, I hate that every time I say something good about the community, people, like, someone the community doesn't like, and I say, hey, like, that was what was said about him was untrue. People say, oh, so you're defending everything he's done. Like, I'm tired of that shit.
Oh, I think that by the end of this, you'll understand why people are saying that. But before we leap off of this point, just yeah, no, it just was funny to me that, like, for someone who's like intimate with Antunes and the style of humor that he regularly engages in, that you can't see the humor in a white person's greatest dream being voicing a black person. It's a little juvenile, it's a little stupid, but I mean, it was a joke. No matter like how you want to construe it, it was a joke.
I literally said Antunes is just a less funny stone toss in my latest video. Like, I don't agree with a lot of Antunes' joke or fine, like the attempt at humor. Like, one thing he drew was this person holding up the trans suicide statistic, and I was like, Antunes, there's no punchline there. It's like, it's not funny. It's like, it's offensive, yes, but you don't have an attempt at humor there. And like,
I think that it definitely could have been told better. And just as someone with context onto production, that was a joke. It may have came out badly, and we can definitely make fun of Daft for making bad jokes that don't necessarily go over well. That's happened in the past. I can concede on that. But
okay.
Do you think
All
it
right.
would be acceptable if we moved on to the Antune stuff?
I mean, I do have more to say about the James thing, but I would just recommend you watch my first video on Daft because it goes over a lot of details with that.
I think we will definitely come back to hidden hypocrisy later, because it's like a repeating thing through the video, and that's just the nature of this debate. But I think that talking about Antunes would definitely be a good direction to go in, because I do have a lot of issues with that. What is your problem with the Daft Antunes video?
Well, the main one has probably to be the whole how he worded the questioning the genitals of a minor. Like when I heard that, I was like, wait, what? What? Like, you know what people are
Why was Antunes asking?
Hold on, guys.
Oh, sorry.
You're doing it again.
Sorry. Is it okay if I go on, or I can let you finish?
You can let Jar finish, and then you can respond when Jar's finished, please.
I mean, in the video, I said he doesn't call Antunes transphobic or say it's none of his business in that section of the video. So, like, if you wanted to say, oh, Antunes, you shouldn't ask people that or what not, or call him transphobic, whatever. Like, the way he worded it, questioning the genitals of a minor, I don't agree with how he phrased that.
Okay. So, why was Antunes asking what set of genitals this minor had?
Well, if you look at Antunes' tweet...
sorry. Keep going.
Yep, keep going.
Well, if you look at Antunes' tweet, what he says is a puppy Chan something, the audacity to question biology, and he shows a tweet from another guy saying biological males cannot not have periods. It is basic biology. Now, apparently, I think Puppy Chan is biologically XX, but so they can have a period. Like, Antunes was misunderstanding what was going on. Like, he thought they were a man, MTF or something. So that's where the miscommunication comes in. I just don't know why Daft would word it as he was questioning the genitals of a minor.
It's very silly to talk to someone and ask them what genitals they have in real life. It's just a very silly thing to do.
You literally ignored what I just said.
You are asking me to explain to you why Daft said this, right? It goes into the whole, like, goofy gaffes thing. It's very silly for a full-grown man to ask someone who he's never met on the internet what genitals they have, especially when that person is also under 18. Or, as some may put that combination of actions, questioning the genitals of a minor. It's very silly.
Okay, mind if I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, you completely ignored my point. The tweet that Daft put up from Antunes was, he said something, the audacity to question biology. And it was a guy saying biological males cannot have period. It is basic biology. That's not him going up to Puppy Chance and saying, hello, minor, what are your genitals? He's saying, wait, how can you have your period? Because he misunderstood, thinking they were MTF when they weren't.
Right. It just seems like a really odd thing to fixate on. You know? Like,
I mean,
as like I know we already know that like Antunes, Ethereon, and Young Don all make like very anti-gay, anti like LGBT, anti-trans stuff. Like that's just not up for debate. So it's like
I mean, I think it
when
is
that
up for
comment
debate.
comes from
Jar.
someone who does
Now you're doing
that
it.
a lot, it just seems odd to me that like, you know, this is when you decide to defend them. You know, it's like this is their MO, this is their pattern. They always make comments like this and speak very offensively about people from those communities.
All right. I mean, I know you say it's not up for debate. I don't want to debate about it, but I think there could be more of a debate about it. But I'm not here for that. But if what you're saying is true, like, oh, they always say this awful stuff, then you shouldn't need to lie or stretch the truth or say really weird shit like questioning the genitals of a minor. Like I'm pretty sure most people here can agree with the wording of questioning the genitals of a minor can lead some people into the wrong conclusion.
First of all, that's unfortunately argumentum ad populum, which is a fallacy for a reason. But more importantly, I'll go ahead and give my take on this, since I think this is where the wires are getting crossed. All right. Regardless of how it's worded, the issue is Antunes had no business asking that. Antunes has done other things very creepy about Puppy Chan before she was an adult, including her as a game sprite where she literally shoots blood out of her vagina. Antunes is a creep. Maybe not a predator, maybe not a pedophile, obviously, but a creep nonetheless. Now, the issue I have is how it was framed in Daft's video. There are a lot of other things you can go after Antunes for. You could just say the flat out truth about it, what it was done, without any sort of bells and whistles, and it would have gotten the point across. Which is what I think is Jar's issue here, is that the way it was framed makes it sound worse than it actually is. Now, technically, you are correct. That is still questioning the genitals of a minor, but it's not in the same way that one reading that sentence would immediately come to the conclusion of. I think that's the crux of this specific clash here.
And that is also a very small portion of a video that goes into a lot of the other valid issues. I just think that it's a very silly joke, and I like understood it. And I know that Jar doesn't, and I guess that's like Jar doesn't understand a lot of Daft's humor. And I think that's okay, you know. But I feel like you are accusing Daft of like I would say that lying would not describe that sentence. I would say embellished, sure. Maybe exaggerated or hyperbolic for the sake of comedy. Yes. But lying? No.
That's why I said in the video, like, I guess you could say that Puppy Chan was a minor. They were 17 at the time. And technically, Daft was questioning their genitals, but he knew what he was doing when he worded things like this.
And on top of that, it's not even a unfair. Oh, sorry.
Please.
Go on mute.
Go ahead, Jar. Finish your statement.
I think that was it for the most part, to be perfectly honest. I forgot what I was going to say next.
Go ahead,
Creepy. So, like, as Leo has stated, he's done, like, creepy things like this before. And he did a creepy thing. Likely in response, or as a response, like, you know, I don't, this is a little bit of a conspiracy theory in my head, so take this with a grain of salt, but Puppy Chan is trans, and that's one of the groups of people he likes to go after a lot. So maybe the fixation is because of that? I think that you've basically agreed that he is a creepy person who does weird things, either, like, illegal or like borderline kind of there, like very like on the edge of, hey, maybe we should keep an eye on this person. So I wouldn't even say that it's an unfair characterization.
Is it my turn to make a point?
Yes.
Okay. Like, I don't defend Antunes on the stuff I think is true about him. Like, I'm not going to defend. I don't think I've ever defended the period blood thing, at least to my knowledge. If I did, my mistake. Really don't remember doing that. But you say it's it's a fair characterization. It sounds like something he would do, and I get that. I get that. But if it is something he would do, Daft can find more examples other places. Like, he doesn't need to stretch the truth. But to be perfectly honest, I think we should probably move on to the next point soon, because
I want to know more about like the Antunes video, because that's just like one very small part of Daft's video.
Well,
and your criticism is that he doesn't show more examples, but that's like a video full of examples of Antunes being a creep.
I go over his mistakes with Antunes in a previous video I did on him. That's why I said, hey, if you want more information, go check that out. But like, I don't know what, that was a small part of his Antunes video. That was like the part I just wanted to go over to like give a quick little recap of things. My problem isn't if Daft criticizes people for the things that are true. My problem is when he stretches the truth, takes things out of context, things like that. Like, I've made my mistakes, fair share of mistakes, myself, and I do what I can to correct them. His video on hidden hypocrisies is still up, but there's a lot more complaints I have about the Antune situation. But I think we should move on to the next part, unless you want to bring up.
I want to know. I watched that video yesterday. I couldn't find any other issues like with it. I don't think that's a bad video. I think it's one of the most charitable videos that Daft's made on someone, especially considering Antunes' reputation. And if I'm not mistaken, Antunes at the time was like even like openly supporting it. So like, I want to know where the misinformation is, because all I've seen is a comment that can, like, even though it may be hyperbolic and embellished, seems to also describes this guy and his past actions.
Are you done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I go over it more in a previous video. You say, well, you only went over one of Daft's points.
Now.
Yeah, in that video. But now if you want more examples, I mean, there's the whole, if I knew we were talking about this more, I would have rewatched my second video to, like, refresh my memory better. But, like, I think he claimed he used out of context images from, like, one of Antunes' Discord that made him look like he was trying to backstab Puppy Chan, when, if you continue reading, he was like, no, peace is a better outcome. And Antunes explains this to Daft, and he doesn't fix the issue. I mean, there are other things, but I don't have my memory refreshed on them. Like, I'm going into this debate blind. I couldn't, like, I only knew it was about the recent Daft video. I couldn't, like, gather my info.
Antunes said that he could use Puppy Chan because she has mental issues.
He said that earlier, but later on he said, no, peace is the better outcome. I go over it.
That's still bad, though, man. Like, can't you see how bad that is?
Sure, I can agree with that. The problem is Daft took him out of context to exaggerate the claim.
He also went on, like, it's not exaggerated. That's what he said.
Okay. Yeah, we're at an hour and 2. I think we should probably move on to the next one, Creepy.
The thing is that I'm trying to understand the misinformation, right? I want to know what misinformation is in the Antunes video, because I watched it for myself and found it to be very charitable. And I'm trying to find exactly, like, a valid, like, an actual point that was, like, completely out of context, completely paints this man as a bad person, because like I said, it was more charitable than any other video I've seen on him.
Well, to be fair, I can agree with you on that partially, because, like, considering the other videos were made by people like Izzy, Creep Show Art, Prismate Luke, like, it's not a high bar for a Daft to hop over. I mean,
it just feels a lot like to me that it's more like miswording rather than as opposed to misinfo.
Mm-hmm. Well, oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm willing to that's where I think we can leave the Antunes point.
Well,
for now.
I wanna
But if
say
you want
is-
to say anything,
The last thing I want to say is, like, I have more information in my newest video, second newest video on Daft, but like that's all I can give. To be fair, it wasn't as well received as my very first one, but like, yeah, that's. I guess we can agree to right there.
Okay, so now we can go on. We can go ahead and move on to the next one here.
right. Okay.
Okay.
You God, sorry, I had the point in my head and it just got blasted out. Let me go back to my
Okay.
docky.
I'll tell you this, like, dude, like, slow down a little bit. Slow down, please. Getting a little bit better than where we were at the beginning of the stream.
On a minor point, I do want to bring up that it's like I said, a lot of this stuff to me like feels more like potential like editing optics wise misinformation or like yeah, it doesn't it seems like miswording or potential other interpretations that like someone could potentially construe as opposed to like outright misinformation to me. Okay, here's a good topic that I actually can just easily go into. In your video, why don't you think like do you not think that like Veritas Joe like was a big part of that video, or like cuz like I had to look for the specific timestamp, but I think we can both agree that you said that you wanted to put all the blame on on Daft because he's the one who.
Well, I am paraphrasing here. I believe my wording was along the lines of Daft probably wrote the script himself, and even if he didn't, he still left it in the video. And this is also going to be points very similar to what Daft will make later on. Like, I'm not, and so like that's what I say. Like, I do believe Veritas Joe, it is a pretty big influence on Daft, at least like from what I've seen. Once they got into contact with each other, Daft started to change a lot. But he's still the guy who made the video. Like, that's why I took responsibility for that editing mistake. Like, hey, the editor made a mistake, but it was still in my video. That's why I put up the thing to try to fix it. So, like, I get, like...
As I guess this is more of a point that you couldn't have possibly known unless if you reached out to Daft. But, you know, Veritas Joe, like, helped rewrite that script a few times. Like, he was involved from scripting to end. It was a very much a group project, and I guess I know this is very uncharitable, the thing I'm about to say, and it's part of the reason why I was a little hurt. But it kind of felt like you were just like entirely dismissing his involvement at all, so that you could focus on Daft, when like in reality, like. You know, like it makes it almost feel like he barely worked on the video. Like when you preface it by saying something along the lines of, "I think Daft wrote the whole script himself." You know?
Well, I said probably, but I do.
Yeah, but that's
coming. I do understand where you're coming from. So, like, maybe I could add that more to the pinned comment, if that would help, because like I don't fully know how much Daft's workers have input to his video, and I mean, I don't know if what you're saying is true, but like I don't think you're lying to me, so I guess I could go for it.
I don't know why you didn't reach out to Daft.
Well, last time I did talk to Daft,
2 years ago.
Huh?
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was around the same time I last spoke to you too. In VC, I mean, like when we talked about him with his Jaden video. Of course, you don't have to take my word on it. I could be misremembering, and it was a long time ago. I don't have any proof. It was an unrecorded VC, but I think he said something along the lines of, what was it? Along the lines of I was asking him about his Jaden video, and he was like, "Yeah, that was bad, but like Jaden didn't have any proof of her bulimia." And I was like, what you want her to throw up in a toilet or something? Now, I could be remembering that conversation. It could have not even happened. Like I don't have any proof of it, but like I'm also not super well known for reaching out to people as much as Daft is. Like he's more well known for that kind of thing, and like
I interrupt you,
sure,
because this is all just speculation. So let's not do that.
Let's not.
According to Daft, which I talked to yesterday, he hasn't talked to you in like 2 years. And and personally, Daft's been like one of my best friends. We've worked together on a lot of projects. I know how his scripting process works. I know how the videos are created. I'm either sometimes there for the beginning, there for the whole thing going on. I got a lot of behind the scenes info, so I have the context. And I also happen to know that if you reached out to Daft, he would have talked to you, but you never did. And this is even doubly bad because I have to look in my notes here, but you say that Daft should have reached out to James before the Hidden Hypocrisy video. And like James has 20 million subscribers.
Hang on. I remember what part you're saying about. I said you could have reached out to James or one of the dozens of other people who worked on the video. He just pulled the point of, he probably deleted it because he unfriended one of the animators out of his ass. He doesn't have any evidence for it.
I'll admit it's speculation. That part, I'll admit that part is a little bit of speculation, but based on the tweet of the guy seeming really disappointed that his hard work was just deleted without being, around, it is speculation, but it's not like it doesn't come from somewhere.
Like, I'm not saying he had to reach out. I'm just saying he could have.
You just spent a lot of time doing a lot of speculation. And you do in your videos, you do a lot of speculation yourself based on like what you believe to be true, but you're getting mad at Daft here for speculating.
My problem.
Do you see why? Like,
I get where you're coming from. My problem is within the next video, the shameful reskin one. He talks about the map thing, and he says like, he could have just done what's his face. Something else YT did with his own video, re-uploading it, and what I said was like, you still don't have hard proof that he unfriended one of the animators. Like, you should have like gone over that. Like,
yeah, it's speculation.
I will say though, throughout this conversation, I think we're starting to become a little bit more agreeable here. Like, I think the call is starting to settle down a little bit.
I've calmed my nerves. I'm no longer interrupting you. And I am very sorry that I did that at the beginning. That is not a good faith thing to do. And I appreciate you bearing with me, homie.
Hey, it's understandable, man. I mean, like,
I'm not a live debater.
Me neither, dude. I fucking suck at these. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Before I came in here, my nerves were like all tied up because I just want to go off the topic real quick. I like you. I've seen you were the first guy to ever collab with my favorite YouTuber. I hate everything. You got me the one fucking sponsor I ever made. And like hearing that you were upset with me, like I was like, oh fuck, did I really fuck up or something? Like, and I understand
that we can end this amicably.
Yes,
obviously. And like I think that I don't like I know I bring up race and all that stuff here. And I know you have a little bit of a reputation involved that, but I won't go into that. I don't think you're racist. I think that you're being misled by some of the people around you.
What?
Well, I mean, you don't have to call me out like that, creepy. I mean, come on, man.
Like it's like I said, it's when you talk about race and stuff like that, especially in like this debate format where it's like someone could be theoretically wrong and that will look mega cringe. I'm not accusing Jar of being a racist. I just think that the priorities are a little skewed.
I'm going to quickly correct something from the chat. When you're like saying in the chat that you think Creepy is like lying about shit, like I blatantly told the chat like, hey, like Creepy has worked with Daft, so Creepy is obviously wanting to defend Daft.
I am,
You know,
and I'm not willing to lie to him.
context.
If I genuinely believe Daft was like blackmailing people and manipulating things behind the scenes and like getting, you know, like using this intimidation factor that's been like hyped up in these videos, I would be on his ass. I would hold him accountable. The reason why I'm a little upset is because Jar had a call to action that he wanted his friends to hold him accountable. But I don't.
Wait. Quick question. When was that?
In your most recent video, let me see. I think I have it labeled as like a pseudo. Oh, you. I'm not gonna hold you to this too hard because you yourself, like, I think label it as a like pseudo conspiracy theory. But I think it starts at 3812. And the theory states that going up against Daft means going up against all the people that are working with him. If it could even get you blacklisted, maybe they are working out of fear, or maybe they think he's a good guy. And then in a joking voice, you say that this effect would be even worse if he had 1 million subscribers. So obviously, I know this is a bit of a joke.
Well, the thing is,
also it's a hard call out to me.
Well, I'm going to be honest here. Like, when I received your comment, when you said, like, you want me to go up against Daft or call out Daft or whatever, you said, fine. And I was like, I was very
I know it's ironic.
because I was like,
I'm a part of the Shadow Cabal.
Like, I was like, wait a second. You're friends with Daft? Have you ever collabed with him or been credited by him? Like, I've never seen that. So I was, like, very confused by that. But what I was saying was...
I was in the Something Else YT, like, I think, rap review.
That was years ago!
Yeah, I know. I'm not mad at you for not knowing that me and Daft are friends. But, you know, when you say things like he might be blackmailing people, or so even if it's like a joking thing, you know, it's still like...
I didn't say blackmail, I said it could even get you somewhat blacklisted. I didn't say blacklisted, it's somewhat blacklisted, because like I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are friends with Daft probably wouldn't have been willing to work with me. But that's why I wasn't saying it was factual. I said it could somewhat, like I added like more than one disclaimers there, because it was just a theory. I even think I said, here's a little theory I have beforehand.
Well, Jar, you have to remember that the videos you make on Daft are like biggest manipulator. And like, if they agree with that point, they're obviously not going to work with Daft at all.
Well,
so it kind of makes sense that people who agree with the point Daft's the biggest liar and manipulator would also not be the same people that work with Daft.
Well, I said master manipulator, but like I do see
the same thing. I think we can agree that being a master or mega or ultra manipulator, not a cool trait.
No, those are the same thing. Those are the same thing. The biggest manipulator is a little different. It's like he's a master swordsman. It's a little different. A master swordsman is a little different from the best swordsman in the world. You get what I'm saying here?
Right.
This is my master manipulator.
As we all know, Mini Lad, that's the master manipulator here. He already got me to forgive him. I don't know, by the 18th apology, I believed him. But
that was a joke for the rest of the chat who's gonna hang on to that, you bunch of dorks.
I can't wait for that to show up somewhere, like ban Creepy. Okay. I think a good point to okay. There's a few things I want to like talk about before we move on to Ethereum, if that's cool.
Sure.
Here's the thing. Based on like my read of your video, it doesn't seem like you talk to anyone who's like very close to Daft. I know you bring up Sunny TM, but that guy's kind of a crazy person, and I really am disappointed that you trusted him.
I took
you do preface this by saying that he had flimsy evidence, and I applaud you for it. My problem was you shouldn't have included him at all. He's a bit of a crazy person.
I haven't looked into him too much, but like I have heard some things from other YouTubers. I think Neko Koda did a video on them. I've talked with Nekokota a little bit, who's I think is close with Daft. I think they're a part of Daft's Discord.
Daft's Discord's a public one. Anyone can join it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you got to give them your freaking phone number, you bunch of dirtbags.
I need to ask, how long do you guys plan on like still going with this? By the way,
As long as it takes. As long
okay,
as
because I need to bounce for a bit because I got cats, Lamau, so I'm gonna keep the stream going. You guys have fun.
We'll try not to say any gamer words,
please.
But yeah, no. I'll tell you this right now. Daft's not friends with Nekokota.
Oh, okay.
They have talked a few times. Daft's not friends with Nekokota. And I know this because I'm in Daft's personal friend group. We talk nearly every day. Nekokota, not in there. Daft definitely has spoken with Nekokota maybe on an occasion, but he's not someone who's a part of our like regular hangout. Sorry. See, that's how much I don't know them.
Who says Jar isn't progressive?
And it's just like, yeah, something that you need to know about him is that Daft is a bit of a more on some ends he can be very like willing to be outgoing, but at least in my personal experience, it takes a lot to become Daft's friend, like to be actually trusted by him. He's very paranoid, and that's because he's been fucked over by a few people. For instance, Atako Studios, who got his entire Discord taken off of Discord for a while. And more importantly, Sunny TM, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, he got hired to work on a animation project. And he never did any work. Told Daft that he was like focusing on streaming and that's why things weren't getting done, when in reality it was because he thought the script was so shit that he didn't want to work on it anymore. He then proceeded to leak a bunch of stuff and threaten Daft on Discord. This guy was not our friend. Not a cool guy. Not a
right.
And it's just very disheartening that you even brought him up, because he's done nothing but like be a harmful entity. Did I say Sunny? It's Sony.
I don't know. I don't know if it's Sunny or Sony, but it's not super important.
It's just like a lot of shit you throw at the wall and hope it sticks, and a lot of this stuff just doesn't, and a lot of these people are horrible or have very loose connections.
Well, when it comes to TM, let's just call him TM.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he did say stuff that I've noticed that Daft does. He like has a problem with someone, reaches out to them, they work with one another. It happens with a few people already, and like he and like him having.
Do you mind if I interrupt you real quick here?
Sure.
Because I think there's an important point to make. Daft reaches out to his critics and talks to them, and then becomes cool with them. Doesn't that like seem to like imply that he's willing to hear criticism? And if these more staunch critics against him are willing to like work with him again, doesn't that like seem to imply that on some level he's like, smoothing the shit out and like actually accepting it? Because I don't know, it just seems a little silly now that you think about it.
Well, if I may speak now, I think it's a little fishy to me that Quinn Curio was a critic of Daft, and then she's like working with him, and like
he hasn't worked on a video of his in a year.
I know, but it's just the one that she helped with was one reading out a comment from a video that was almost as bad as the Jaden one, in my humble opinion. We can talk about that more later on.
Right.
And I will say, after looking more and more into Sony TM, I do also think the dude is a little bit unhinged, but I will look into him more because, like, a few people have brought him up to me. Because, like, I don't have, like, a throbbing hate boner for Daft. It's just no one big was saying anything, and, like, I've noticed, like, patterns with his behavior.
There's a lot to unpack with that. You don't understand how much there is to unpack that. Okay, first off, Quinn, null. All right, all you got is speculation and like conspiracy theories. Quid's a cool person. We talked it out. I think she's a cool person. There was no intimidation. There was nothing. I can't tell you the extent to which Quinn worked on that video because I didn't think it was important. But I know that you probably could have figured that out if you reached out to Daft.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these issues like kind of stem from the fact that you never even attempted to reach out to Daft, who didn't unfriend you until after the second video.
Wait, he unfriended me?
Yes, after the
I
second
didn't
video.
know that.
He kept the line of communication open. But after the second video, the implication is that you just didn't care.
Well, I okay, well I didn't know that.
Okay, so I believe the Tina Fey thing was going to be discussed at some point. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Right.
Tina Fey won.
Just one quick question: how much longer is this? Because I'm still at work and I do have to make my patrols.
When do you have to make your patrol?
I can make it as long as I finish it. As long as I have 4 patrols, and as long as I finish them before 7 a.m. The time zone we are having this call in, it's 9:30, so I still have lots of time. It's just I don't want this to go on for another 5 hours.
We'll go until 10 p.m. then.
I'll even then though, even if like that's not done, I definitely do want to continue the conversation if we can't go through what we need to come to.
Yeah, we can continue it another day.
Of course. But Tina Fate won. So you mentioned the Sora tweet or message that Daft made.
Okay. I'm going to be 100% real here. After your comment, I looked through the video a lot, like to see if I made any mistake, and I did see I completely fucked up on that one. I will completely take the L on that one straight up. Well, it did seem to me like a point Daft would bring up against them. Yeah, like that. Apparently, there was just hatred going around her about that sort of thing when Daft showed up. But apparently, there's not much if any, evidence of him going after.
Yeah, Daft
I
never
will
made that
100% take the L on that one. Like, not gonna fight with you. I'll take the L.
Like, it's so bad too because it's like in the editing and like in the actual video, you show Daft's apology thing over Tina Fate 1, and in that apology. Yeah.
I did. Like, I completely fucked up on that one. That's why I plan to edit that section out. Completely fucked up on that one. I was a fucking idiot, so I will take the L on that one.
Right. Okay. It just. Okay. I gotta think. Sorry. Lots of discombobulated thoughts.
While you're thinking, I'll go ahead and say a couple things here so I can fill out the chat first and foremost. Sometime this week, Creepy, since I have this week off, I would like to have a chat with Daft. You know why. But for the rest of the chat, and we're not going to address that right now, by the way, but for the rest of the chat, I want to give my value about Tina Fate. Tina Fate was an adult, granted 2-year difference, but still an adult, who catfished a minor, meaning there was intent to deceive, to get nudes from the minor. I do not care if Tina Fate was doxxed. I do not care if Tina Fate gets hit by a truck. I don't care if Tina Fate decides that he or she no longer wants to be part of this world's census. Don't care. That's my value. Now, how it was handled, I think was poor. I've been very clear about that. Regardless of not knowing every aspect of the situation, that's my value, and I will, hopefully this week, talk to Daft about that.
Right. So, along with that, I feel like your video heavily downplays Tina Fate 1 and how predatory their actions were. Like, you even, like, acknowledged that they were catfishing a minor and didn't seem to see any issue with manipulating a minor or, like, lying to one. Especially for the, like, explicit purposes to get nudes.
Mm-hmm.
You downplay it, though. Like, that's my issue. You downplay it in favor of shitting on Daft. Oh, Daft fucked this one up.
Uh-huh.
So
okay, I'll continue.
No, I'm just asking. Like, can you explain that?
I mean, what I went over was some people complain about my newest video saying I didn't mention that they got nudes from the minor, but in the previous video I did. I recently went back and I was like, oh fuck, did I miss this? But I went back to the older one. No, I mentioned they catfished a minor.
Sorry.
Wait, not catfish. Got nudes from the minor. The thing with me though is it's a 2-year age gap, and it's like the Comey Carson situation all over again.
That's pretty fucked up, though. He's lying. Like, he's lying about their identity to a minor
that is why, like,
That's
I will
predatory.
agree. I think it is fucked up that they did lie about being a lesbian, and I do wish I went into more detail about that. Like, I brought it up, but I didn't go over why that was bad, so I can understand why some people could have come to the conclusion that I was downplaying it.
You did. That is clinically what you did when you say that the age difference was only 2 years.
But my problem with Daft is he still brings them up and he goes, they were catfishing a minor. And I was like, dude, can you at least bring up that the age difference was 2 years? Because it sounds way worse when you just
Why would we downplay it? Why would we downplay the predatory actions of
telling the truth?
That is. It is, though. Because when you preface it by saying it was only 2 years, you are like almost like saying like, well, it sounds bad, but it's not really that bad. It is really bad. It doesn't matter how old you are. You don't catfish people, especially children, to get nudes. That's really fucking egregious, especially for a content creator with over 100,000 followers.
It's just that, like, he never brings up that it was like, even if you don't want to have him say only, it was still a 2-year age gap. They were both teenagers, and while 19-year-old preying on a 13-year-old is fucked up, like 17 and 19, I mean, I think there's more of a gray area there. And even if you don't want to agree with there being a gray area, which some people will agree, some people will disagree, I think he should at least bring up that there was a 2-year age gap. He's still
missing the point.
Hold on, Jar. I think you're kind of missing what's being got at here. What's being got at here is not the issue of an age gap. That seems to be what you're focused on. I think you somehow, and I don't know how, keep missing. The problem isn't the fact that two people with an age gap sexted each other. And it's still a federal offense. Gotta be blunt about that. Still needs to be dealt with either by talking to parents or talking to cops. What you're missing here is Tina was intentionally being deceptive in order to get a minor's nudes. That's the problem here. That's the main issue. That's the main crux here. If it was two people that were open about their identities, that shared nudes and needed a slap on the wrist, that's one thing. The problem is Tina did it with intent to deceive. That does not speak of somebody who has true romantic intent or somebody who is just in a relationship that went sour. Tina had nefarious intent to begin with. That is what is predatory about this, and I genuinely don't know how you're missing that. And usually I wouldn't even step in on this far of a debate, but this is a specific issue with me I have here. You know why, which is why I'm bringing this up. You know better.
Yeah, I know according to the law, it would still be considered distribution of CP. And yeah, I guess I should have gone over Tina Fey a little bit more harshly. It's just that, like, I've seen other videos talking about this, and I did link Harley's video, which goes into more detail about this in my first video, second Daft video talking about this. But
the Harley video is problematic, but that's not for this debate.
Wait, what?
I think the Harley video is a little problematic, but that's
it's Harley, of course it is.
Yes, of course. Cats are all clean, by the way.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, no. The problem with like prefacing that it's like only a 2-year age gap is that that's an inherent downplay statement. You're like saying like, yes, he did this, but it's not as bad. And the thing is that this is someone who is a influencer with over 100,000 followers in our ball court. Our job, like when I get hired for a sponsorship, they put down the word influencer. I influence people. My job, your job, Tina's job, influence people. Now, when you have someone lying to minors in the job of influencer, it's problematic. I don't want those people in my community. And the thing that I happen to notice is that Tina Fey wouldn't have came out if it wasn't for Daft getting involved to begin with. So it seems like you're just trying to downplay the situation. Like I know it's stupidity. You don't realize that catfishing a minor, no matter what the age is inherently predatory. You're willing to ignore that fact so that you can focus on the thing that downplays the predator so that Daft could look worse because he didn't downplay the predator.
Whether you want to say he didn't use the term only 2-year gap.
It's not only 2-year gap at all. Like just 2-year gap. You can't, because that's not the problem.
Why does he bring that up? I mean, it sounds way worse when you say catfishing a minor. Like, I think
because that's what he did, Jar. Because it is bad. Because it was deceptive. That's why.
Was bad. It was deceptive. It's just bring up the age just to make things more clear.
Yeah, you're arguing that we should downplay it.
I'm saying you should. I'm arguing you should tell the truth.
That is the truth. There's nothing that Daft said on this, that Creepy has said on this, that is not accurate, that is not true. This person was being actively deceptive to try to coax nudes out of a minor. You could say, well, there was a 2-year age gap, but that doesn't change anything.
Then he should have no problem bringing it up.
When you bring it up like that, it inherently has the implication that it's not as bad. He catfished a minor. I don't want fucking like influencers catfishing minors, no matter how old they are. It's bad. It's fucked up. It's wrong.
How about we just move on from this point? Like, I guess I shouldn't have used the term only, but like, that's
not the problem. It's not only. It's the fact that you don't bring up the predatory stuff and still don't seem to understand why it's predatory.
I mean, I guess I could.
You should. Not could.
Yeah,
should.
I should bring up that, like, the most recent video on Daft, I think, was probably the most well-made, because the guy went over what the people who did wrong in this situation in a lot better of a context than me, which I do applaud the guy for that. Which is fine. Yeah.
Are like, do you not see how fucked up like what you did was?
I can see how I fucked up.
It's a real big oopsie. Like I know I'm pressing it a little bit, but like, man, you are defending predators. That is against everything I am about. And I honestly like a sorry or like, hey, I admit I was wrong. I concede. But I'm not getting that. I'm getting, let's move on. Like, do you not concede that point?
Yeah, I concede that I should have gone into more detail about them. I should have said, fuck Tina Fey, what they did was wrong. And maybe I'll either edit it out or add to the pinned comment. I mean, it's not like even a huge thing about Daps not bringing up the age gap to me. It's not like a huge thing. It's just, he doxes them, he apologizes about the situation, and then he still brings them up.
He didn't dox them.
Well, we could have a conversation about that.
Let's have a conversation about doxing, please.
All right.
He didn't dox them. He didn't post their address. He didn't like give in any of the pictures that he posted. He didn't give any like identifying information. And in fact, David, as of right now, still has his Facebook on public. So that implies to me that if there wasn't enough backlash to get him to private the account like he should have from the beginning. 2, there wasn't enough people being driven to the account to even get him to care about it. And the only evidence that there is that anything bad happened is him making a tweet saying, hey, please don't come after my family. And no one doing that.
Would it be all right if I took a 1 minute vape break and come back?
Yes.
Sure, by all means.
Right.
By all means. Also, so my friends say made something for this stream for particular parts. I'm gonna throw it up on stream right now. Let me go ahead and save the image real quick.
It just feels like, damn, it's like deceptive on purpose.
All right,
like,
let me go ahead and throw this up. Gap.
I don't think it's deceptive on purpose. I think this is just like a hyperfixation of his, and I don't understand it.
I feel like the only reason to focus on the age gap, right, in this situation, is to imply that the catfishing wasn't as bad, but he couldn't say that because he knows you would tear him apart.
Oh my God, Sarah.
I prefer salmon. To be...
so Say just made that for like all the creepy interruptions.
Oh my god.
Who the fuck is that?
It's like the video is like full of shit where it's like nothing burgers and like in order to get him to agree to take it down, I gotta tear down the whole video. I got like one note for like every minute. Sometimes there's like sometimes there's like a note where it's like 10 or 20 minutes between, but that's just because Jar will linger on a single topic for a very long time.
Yeah, but just so you're aware, Sarah, we're gonna go ahead and cut it at 10 p.m. so nobody's up till like 12 on this specific topic, and so Jar can do his job.
Yeah, I feel like we're like with a lot of the stuff that
I'll do a part 2 if I have to.
I mean, I'm not. We'll do it live. I'm not in opposition to that. Like, but this literally could go on for about 5 hours because I've seen your document, Creepy. Like,
it's God. Like 7 pages.
We might have to strap ourselves. Yeah, why? Because
I'm only gonna go until I can get Jar to agree to take down the videos. And if it takes me going through all of my grievances and he still won't do it, then that's where it is.
I mean,
that's civil. I don't care.
Yeah, it's gonna take quite some time, dude, to get through all of this stuff.
I don't think I should have to. I don't think I should have to. I think like just being like, well, this is a major fuck up, and this is a major fuck up, and hey, don't you realize that you're defending an actual predator in your video tearing down Daft?
Also, did you see the image I threw up on screen?
Heat of Fate, like, there's only a 2-age age gap, and Daft doxed him. Like, that's the implication from Jar's video.
Thank you, Say.
I mean, my value would still be, even if Daft did dox him, I don't care.
All Daft did was post enough evidence to prove that David was a cis male, because we were afraid. We were very afraid that he would be like, no, I'm actually trans. But we were able to prove that they were catfishing.
I mean, you still shouldn't have done it on Twitter like a bunch of bozos, but we'll get into that whenever I get the chance to talk to Daft.
We didn't want to... a little bit of this, actually. Daft did a video on Luluboo recently, another, like, Twitter artist, and he didn't want to, like, give the implication that he just tears down people. And as a result, with the Tina Fate situation, we agreed that it would be better for us not to make a monetized video, just to show how serious we were.
That doesn't address the issue here. Like you can't. I'm gonna go ahead and say it here real quick because again, I need to have that conversation because frankly, this. Yeah. Anywho, you can't monologue like a goddamn supervillain on Twitter when you're dealing with a child predator. Man, you can't do that.
I would need to relook at the context for that, but I'd prefer not to defend or not defend if that's a plead the fifth.
That's fine, but Sarah, you're having way too much fun with the stills.
We did try to talk to Tina Fate too. like we actually did reach out to Tina Fate, but they would not answer us in private.
All right, but go ahead. Jar's finally back.
Hey, Jar.
Oh, am I here?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about the
Yes. So we're talking about doxing with that situation.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doxing. What's the dox?
Oh, okay. So I believe in what's her face, Queen Curio's video when they were talking about, oh my gosh, this is James. That's the white-haired guy with the blue jacket. Am I correct?
What?
Okay. Well, point is whether you know who that is or not super relevant. But he posted where Speechy goes to school, and in
what? No, go back. Talk about Tina Fate here. Right? Yeah, I'm not trying to go to Specchi. I'm trying to hold you to Tina Fate. And right now, I want to know, where did Daft dox Tina Fate?
He's trying to lead you on to what he's trying to get at, and you kind of lost it.
Okay.
So go ahead, Jar. Try to construct your point again, please.
So he posted where. Now, this wasn't Daft. I want to make that clear. Daft didn't do this. Oh my gosh, it's James did. Not to be confused with the Odd Ones Out James, different James. And I don't even remember fully if it was, oh my gosh, it's James. I was pretty sure it was that guy. Old critic in the Storytime animation critic community. I don't think he's around anymore. He posted where Species goes to school, and then Quinn Curio said, you can make an argument about hard or soft doxes, but those are pretty significant breadcrumbs you're leaving. And when it comes to Harley messaged Daft about like taking down that tweet because they can find David through that tweet, and Daft didn't take it down. Now, with the information you have presented to me about him still having his private Facebook account up,
Yep, never took it down.
I was not aware of that information.
Right,
I will,
but you could have.
Yeah, I could have.
And you didn't.
Yeah.
Sounds like you fucked up your job pretty badly there.
Well,
also, I want to let you know that a public Facebook account
let
isn't
Jar defend
private.
himself. Let Jar respond.
So as I was saying, the problem was like people reached out to Daft and said this could dock someone, and like he didn't do anything about it. Like he just pretty much ignored the situation. Which, even if you do hate Tina Fey, kind of did make them make them look like a victim. So even if you don't like Tina Fey, this got a lot of people off their ass. Now, I will say this:
Sorry,
I'm 100% sure Daft did not intend for any of that to happen.
Tina Fey never had anyone threaten their family. Tina Fey never was doxxed. Tina Fey had a public Discord where, that's how we found it, by the way, through their, if I'm not mistaken, through their public Discord, when they themselves are talking about it. This is never private information. It was a public Discord with public images that he himself posted. And we didn't tell people to go to their Facebook. We didn't tell people to find their address, and we certainly do not encourage anyone to partake in nefarious activities in the relation of doxing. And none of that ever happened. Because in the actual pictures, we don't leave any information in those that would lead to it. Like we edited them to make sure that they would just prove the point that David is a cis male, because you kind of need that in order to prove it. And if it wasn't for that, Tina Fey never would have came out and would still be catfishing minors today.
Hang on, someone's coming to the building. I have to mute myself real quick.
No worries.
Okay. Wonderful.
Also, real quick to address Agent Angie, Facebook is not private information. It's actually public information.
It's public.
If you leave your Facebook on public, or you have a friend that can access their account, that's your choice.
Like, guys, if I were to do the same thing, like, that's my mistake. Like, there's no defending that at all.
It was in the public Discord. Just all of it was public. And if David wanted to avoid the potentiality of being doxxed, he could have just privated the account at literally any point in the last couple of years.
Alternatively, he could have just not creeped on kids.
Alternatively, but we got to focus on the age gap.
I'm not saying focus on it. I'm just saying at least bring it up. But yes, let's continue. So, I was certainly not aware of it being a lot of that stuff. Like, I saw some people talking about it, and I didn't really see anyone responding to these points. Like, I remember Daft getting a lot of backlash about this.
Lot of messages to go through, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would make the argument that it's your responsibility to figure out the truth of the claims that you're making before you make them.
Well,
it's like everything. Sorry, I will shut up. You talk. I've interrupted you enough. Muting myself.
Okay, yeah, like at first coming in here, like I thought it was just going to be 2 points you had, but I mean 3 or 4 of them I can agree with. Like, I don't agree with a lot of your points, but will be editing down the video significantly because I don't have a throbbing hate boner for Daft, and I would rather have the information be right than wrong.
You got 3 videos on the guy.
Yes, I did, but like I only got I made the first one, it blew up. Most people didn't have a problem with it. I made the second video. I got a few mean comments, sure, but like
your own audience is always going to agree with you more than
that.
like,
Yeah. So I do see where I was like also testing the waters. Like, is anyone? I did ask around. Before this happened, a lot of people did seem to like my Daft videos, but like I was talking to people like Neko Coda. Like Neko Coda explained to me a problem with the first video that James apparently got more hatred for the tweet that I said he barely got any hate for, so I like made sure to correct that in the next video. Some people didn't like my defense for James, the odd ones out, drawing Asian characters like people like Millie Malware, and I can get that. So I did ask around and like ask questions, and admittedly, I should have probably
reached out to Daft at any point in time in the last, like, between the first and second video.
Yeah. I mean, he could have also reached out to me.
Why should he have to reach out to you when you're the one making a video on him? How is he supposed to know, if you never talked to him before the first video?
Well, not with the first video, but after the first video.
Right,
like,
so he's expected to be like, oh no, this person's bringing...
the blame is more on me than him. That's
100% on you. Let's not mince words. 100% on you. You should have reached out and did your due diligence as someone reporting on this. That is your job.
I will say I kind of agree, but I also kind of disagree. I'll agree in the fact that Jar should have reached out first, but at the same time, somebody does a video on me, and I think it's 12 different types of goddamn stupid, and they're on my friends list. You better believe I'm going to show up, and we're going to have words. And the fact that Daft didn't, don't really see him as very strong at this point.
It's like, man. So, Jar brought up, I can kind of explain this a little bit too, and like this is just, let's be human here. Jar brought up a very embarrassing video that had not been on the internet for like 5 years in like attempt to shame him. Half the video in the first one is dedicated to the Jaden video, which had been apologized for. Had like Daft and Jaden and I met at VidCon 2019. We are all cool. We all agree, very bad video, very like embarrassing, and specifically because it's like, it's not our role to criticize someone coming out with a mental disorder. You know, like what are we like what Jar said? What is that? What are you supposed to do? Like make her vomit on camera? Like no. The only one who knows that is her, and anything we say is speculation, and that's why it's been disowned for over half a decade. And to the point where even, like I said, before COVID-19, we had even hung out some of these people. James is just odd ones out. I got a lot of information that I don't really want to go hard into. Just, I'm willing to stake my personal reputation that James is kind of a fucking weirdo. I don't want anything to do with him. I don't want to be on his shit list. I've seen the things he's privately messaged. He's not a great guy. And some of his, like I said, if we go back to the multi animator project video, instead of
whoa. I mean, you brought up the Jaden thing. Can I respond to that? And now you're already on James.
Sorry. I spiderweb a bit, as you noticed. ADHD.
Spider.
Yeah, I'll let you continue with the James thing, but with the Jaden things, I made it clear in the first video that he did apologize for it. He did take it down, and in the recent video, I did mention that it was nearly 5 years old. But like my problem it's that he was making similar mistakes with James later on. He a lot of speculation, and other things like that. Did
you name one?
When we get to the James section, how about that? But like,
okay.
I'm just saying why I brought it up.
I understand the point. The point that I'm making is that once we go into the James stuff, it's going to be very apparent that bringing up Jaden is just either negligent or bad faith, but I think, from what I've learned, negligent.
Okay, last thing I want to say about the James and Jaden thing. I mean, he brought up stuff James has said with a private friend over 6 years ago. So even I asked myself, so he can criticize someone for doing something 6 years ago, but I can't.
What's the difference between these situations, though? Like, is there anything different? One has like a public apology with like the creators still like being in contact with each other and okay with each other, and one is like a weird thing that even that has never been addressed to this point, despite the fact that James said in the comment he would address it and then never did. One of these problems has been addressed and appropriately amended between both the parties publicly, and one has been just deleted off the face of the internet, save for Daft's video.
Daft made a video on Jaden. James didn't talk about Dango publicly. James did reach out to talk to Dango privately, but like they were very unwilling to meet them halfway. And like I say, this says more about Jaden's character of being willing to forgive.
Also, I should let you know too about Dangle, just as a way to color this. Dangle's post was a public Tumblr post. Wasn't private. Wasn't like a DM. Public Tumblr post.
Did I say it was private?
You are against Daft using the post at all, which has at this point in time been edited out. But
my problem wasn't Daft using the post at all. My problem was that he cut off the context of her wanting to use wanting him to use the post, and then he tried to get around the whole, well, I don't want white men to read it out, by getting like black people to read it out, which I was just like, I don't know.
With black people reading quotes, or like a diverse set of voice actors willing to like help with a thing that they agree with. Is there a problem with black people voicing in DaftPina cartoons? What's the problem?
I'm not saying it's weird.
You're the one who brought up their race. I need you to answer the question.
And you let him answer the question?
Okay. What's weird is he cut out the part where they said they don't want white men reading their post, but he'll leave in like, so he gets a black girl to read it out, which I was like, dude, just read it out yourself, or like you get anyone of any race to read it out. Like they don't want you to reading it, and then you read it, but you like still kind of want them to do a little like it's not like a huge deal. I just think it's like kind of weird.
I think it's very weird that you're fixating on the race of the narrator.
I mean,
why does it matter what race of the narrator is? Unless if the implication is,
it's an argument from authority that Daft is using, like, oh, you can't criticize this because
the authority of being black.
Yes, Daft has criticized using an argument from authority before.
Yes, but this isn't an argument of authority. This is speaking from experience.
Isn't experience like part of authority?
No. Authority is like perceived hierarchical power just like given to you. Like you are you're a patriarch. You cannot be questioned on your authority.
I think you're both kind of missing what it actually is.
I could be wrong.
Technically, it's about optics.
But point being is that Daft can use whatever color of person he wants to voice in his videos. You shouldn't bring that up. It makes you look really bad.
What?
Why do you care what person what color of the skin of the narrator is, and why do you care that it's specifically a black person?
Well, my point is that like she didn't want white men reading out her Tumblr post, so what does he do? He gets a black girl to read it out. Why? I don't know. Guess it's because he's white. Like he'll listen to her with that part, but he won't listen to her not wanting it in a sponsored video. It's like, why meet her halfway on that, but not the other thing?
Okay, so I see. Just to start out here, I'm not going to defend Dangle. I think that they have some problems that we both agree with, right?
Yeah.
Yes. The reason why a big chunk of that video was edited out for just so you understand, is a privacy complaint. And that's why it's edited out. So, and the only reason why the video is still up is because the Odd Ones Out said he was going to respond to it, and here we are 2 years later with no response. So video stays up.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, like if it's just like you claim he edited out, but he didn't edit it out. It was a privacy complaint, and you could have learned this if at any point.
No,
you reached out.
I did say. I think I said in the previous video that's why he edited it out, but like the way he edited it
I
out.
have to watch so many videos just to know if you fucked up or not, because it's like there's hours of this content.
I know. Like,
and it's like the redactions are only in some of them.
Yeah, I mean it is a series, but like
series.
Yeah, like I think all great stories deserve a sequel, and the truly legendary ones deserve a trilogy. But
you also claimed that Daft edited out because he listened to James, but again, privacy complaint. So where did you get the information that it was because of James?
I mean, I think that's not what I said, but like, how about we talk about this more? We like leave this as like.
I think we're literally done with time right now, gentlemen, because Jar is literally at work, so we can schedule another time this week to pick this up and keep going. If both of you are amicable about that, and both of you have the time to do it, so we're gonna go ahead now and cease the back and forth currently. And now I'm just gonna ask you two: do you two want to hear from the Peanut Gallery about this?
Yeah, sure. I'm not
about
afraid.
you, Jar?
I wish Jace was here.
Why?
Jar, sure. I know. Okay, sure. I know you got to go to work, so you don't really have the ability to stay here for long. So, here's how this is going to work, like it always does. First is you're going to see if any of the mods want to talk, because half of them, I imagine, have something to say at this point. And then we're going to open up the floor to everybody else who wants to say something. So, mods, you're up. If you have something to say, say it.
Okay, well, I can listen in, but I will be muted because I'll be outside doing my patrol, and you won't be able to understand me because of the wind.
Okay, I'll say it first since I'm here. I guess I don't know. Okay, look, I like you both. Creepy, you're my big time homie, bro. The stream was a little bit of a mess. For you.
Listen,
yeah.
First time debater. It's I have ADHD. I struggle to hold my tongue sometimes when I'm hearing something and just want to be like, oh wait, but there's also
I get it.
And there's like so much of this stuff is tangled, and like I could go from one topic to another topic to another topic, and I had to learn live how not to debate.
I do the same thing, like a lot, but you went with it like really hard on this one.
I think I got better though, right? Like I did.
You did a bit, but you gotta learn to take a doggone turn before I lose my mind.
Please.
Do me if next time we do this, I'll just I'll focus on muting myself because
okay. No, you should have done start screaming gamer words.
God damn it.
Yeah, because I gotta tell you, I was about ready to actually fucking unmute and just tell you, shut the fuck up. He's trying to respond. Like I was saying that in chat earlier. Like
I said, I apologize. I'm not looking at stream chat. So if you were trying to give me words of wisdom from beyond the grave, I unfortunately
I was just bitching because I just really wanted to actually hear Jar's response. You know?
I know. I will be better. I will take the experience here and be less cringe.
In part 2.
You know what they say? All great stories need a fucking trilogy.
We're not doing this 3 times. Fuck that.
I mean, if we do, though, it will be funny as you see me descend further into madness. And I can drive the Jar. I can't drive the Creepy, and that's kind of unfair.
I can drive to Creepy.
All right.
Well, sort of.
Is there like any other people that have questions?
Any other mods want to talk up? If not, we're handling it off to the Peanut Gallery.
Why are you letting the Peanut Gallery talk?
I know.
I'm gonna cut the stream off. I'm not gonna put the stream on the Peanut Gallery.
No,
no, look at the bright side. You can get more super chats from idiots.
It will make them suffer as we suffer. So help me, Sarah. I will strangle the life from you.
You hear that, everybody watching the stream? Baiji just called you idiots. You should send a super chat asking Sarah to say that you're not idiots.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm not wrong. They're all fucking mentally stunted.
Is this so okay, question. Is this like an answer question thing, or
they can say whatever they want to you and you can respond? If none of the other mods have anything to say, I'm gonna open it to the Peanut Gallery. And honestly, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun and see if Mal's willing to take a couple swings.
My only request is that we just take the questions simply. Like one at a time, like don't all at the same time.
they start doing to you what you did to Jar, there will be blood.
Right.
Sure.
I know it's not fair, but or of me to ask because I fucked up. But
The show must go on.
It's the headphones. Like if it gets way too loud, like yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. So, any other mods want to talk? Now's your last time to chat. Immediately.
I think it's time for the man in the mirror to nod his head.
Hold on. I think Rosie unmuted.
I did unmute a bit ago. I was gonna say that both you guys seem to have a very hard time, not even just understanding each other, but understanding like everything around you. You both have tunnel vision on a lot of things, like and it's gotten to the point where we've literally got Jar talking about the last point that you were talking about with the getting people of color to like read that post. There is obviously points that Jar's trying to get, but he's too far one way, Creepy you're too far the other. The point isn't of who's reading the post. The point was that the person who made the post didn't want a white guy talking about it. Whoever reads it isn't the point, it's who's talking about it. And neither of you thought of that, but I'm using that as the example because it's the last one that was there. So if you're doing this again, please stop the tunnel vision. You gotta stop.
There's a lack of information, I think, about this post that I think will help clear some context that we should have given. That's my bad. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jar brought up that the person that they had voice it was black, and I just thought that it's like really like one we both agree Dangle's weird and racist, right? And hindsight going back, probably would have used a post or video would definitely be edited differently. But yeah, it's just weird that like anyone would like focus on the skin color of a narrator. That was what was confusing me.
Well, I'm telling you now because that was the main point, and I know I'm bringing this up because other people other than Jar has brought it up. My opinion on it, I don't know. I don't care to look further beyond it because everyone looks like a moron in that scenario, and I will brush it off as everyone being stupid. But to clarify it to you and Jar, because neither of you were mentioning it, that was the problem. Right. The point of bringing up somebody was nothing. Bringing up another person to bring the post up and getting someone black to read it was nothing more than a loophole to talk about a post that that the person who even made the post didn't want Daft talking about, and I'm leaving it at that because I wanted to bring up a nice, perfect example of where you're both going wrong. So
right,
please.
no, definitely there are definitely more important issues to be talked about. I just it's hard. I've never had someone focus on the race of one of my voice actors before.
That was the only point, but like it's just like again.
And also it's a public post on a public Tumblr. Now Dangle is a crazy person, as we all know. Yep. But I don't think there's any problem with talking about a post that's public.
Yeah,
okay, so sorry if the wind is bothering you, but one thing I want to say is technically she also didn't have to be black. I mean, she just said she doesn't want white men reading it. Like, it doesn't really matter if they were black, but like they could have been Latino or Asian or something. It's just she said she didn't want white men to read it out. It's just I just kind of found it funny that Daft would meet her halfway on that, but still talk about her post. Like, it's a public post. I think anyone can talk about it. I think the whole, oh no, your skin color is not the right race, or oh no, you're sponsoring the video is a stupid point from Dangle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think I think the wider point is it was a dumbass thing to bring up anyway. Now I'm on mute back again because I just wanted to point stupid stuff out.
You're hopeless.
I want to address a couple things here real quick, because then I'm going to actually get Mally to address a question she has been asking in chat, because nobody else can see it, obviously. First of all, it's going to be a little mean, itty bitty bit of mean. Maybe I know why you're here specifically because of Jar's call to action at the end.
Yes.
But there are so many problems with Daft's videos. Why isn't Daft here?
I mean, if we want to, that's a whole debate.
I see.
One, there's we would have to talk about those specific videos, so I can't I don't know necessarily what you're referring to in this specific moment or what set of videos this specific moment.
No. I mean, what I mean specifically is is Daft not capable of defending himself? More to my point, and this is my value because you know the type of person I am. I see Daft unfriending Creepy instead of unfriending Jar instead of confronting him to be kind of a pussy move. So I'm wondering why are you here but Daft won't show?
So, do you know that a lot of hate videos have been made on Daft, and in our experience, well, Sunny TM, band, I don't know. Just so you know, too, I'm going to list off some video names. I'm not giving an opinion on them. I'm not saying if they're wrong or right. Just that over the years, there have been a lot of videos. People don't like the fact that we're talking about or storytime animators. And a lot of people who are in the storytime animation community are much more smaller fry, obviously. But point being is that in our experiences, a lot of these people are acting in bad faith. Daft hasn't heard of you till yesterday.
I'm not talking about me.
I know. I'm just saying you're saying that you say here specifically in this call, like debating. He hasn't heard of Senate till just recently. And secondly, he doesn't trust Jar to act in good faith. I'm different. I'm hoping Jar's not an idiot. I'm hoping that we can come to a amicable solution so that we can stop a bunch of videos being made about each other.
Okay.
And the more important thing here is that I worked on a lot of these videos that are being criticized. I was there for them, and I feel like I am. It's partially because I'm defending my work.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and give my value then, and I'm going to pass it to Mally because she's been very patiently waiting, I'm sure. Here's how you deal with somebody who you think may be a dishonest actor who has made videos about you that you are currently communicated with or connected with in terms of DM. You get them in a call and you eviscerate them, you tear their throat out, you record it, and they get stupid, you put it out.
That is certainly a way to go about it.
It's the best way to go about it, because then you don't have to worry about a billion videos. You just sit there and you lay that idiot sentence bare, and you let his entire audience recognize that he's a dishonest snake.
It's just
my value.
It's like when you're bigger, it's just a lot of these people just won't accept it, or they'll manipulate it, or they'll use.
That's why I said specifically with somebody you're already connected to.
Yeah. And like I said, Daft's not really happy about having his drawings that he made when he was 15 years old being brought up.
He should get into a talk with Jar and eviscerate.
Well,
Jar
it's just that instantly feels bad faith. To me, that instantly feels like he's digging for my high school drawings to make points about me.
Creepy. I have had to deal with people that have tried to find out where my wife works, and I've embarrassed them publicly about it by tearing into them. It's not a matter of the size; it's a matter of the intensity. That's the point I'm trying to get across.
Would you mind if I say something?
Go ahead, Jar.
So, yeah, I was misled with that. My problem is, when I made a pinned comment correcting that misinfo, Daft just took it, put it in a video, and says, oh, he's proven wrong and unable to admit that he did anything wrong, but he also admits that he did poor research. And I was like, bro, really? I felt
you did. With the Tina Fate thing that you admitted to.
What?
The Tina Fate thing.
But
what is echoing?
You the Tina Fate situation, by your own conceded admission, was poorly researched.
My problem is, though, when I left that comment to say that, I should have looked at Advil's video a little bit more and, looked through, the two things I got wrong for the second one that I admitted to. He says, he admitted to not really researching, and he's also unable to admit he did anything wrong. But I'm like, how can I admit to not really researching and also not admit to doing anything wrong at the same time? And, that's why I was ticked off at Daft, because I was like, wow, that's what he says about me. Like I was trying to be good faith there, and that's what I got.
It's just, there's a lot, man. Like I said, the Tina Fate situation's a pretty big oopsie.
We can
Mally.
tackle more of that later, but Mally, you're up. Take a swing.
Mally.
Hello, yes, Mally. I came to this a little bit late, so do catch me if I go over something you've already discussed. But my biggest sort of hitch in this is apparently you haven't addressed the Jaden porn video part of the video. I just want to know where you stand on that.
Embarrassing, poorly made, bad, made when was a teenager, hasn't been on the internet for a long time.
Okay, sorry. When you say teenager, how old?
I believe 18 or 17.
Bad,
okay. Cringe. It was bad at the time. Daft agrees with that. When there was a period of my life where I had really shitty views that would have seen a video like that and would have thought, damn, what a good video. Daft was the guy to tell me, hey, this was bad. And yeah, big learning moment. Don't do that. Okay. Bad video. We all agree, bad video.
Okay, cool. I was more asking in regards to Jar's video. Do you have any objections to it being discussed now?
I don't think it's relevant to current Daft. I've known him. This is just part of it's a bit of a me thing, but I feel like when we're talking about like the porn video or the empty review or like the face reveal thing, all of those have clear cut horrible shit in them. Stuff that should not be defended. With the newer stuff, you can agree or disagree on something. Some of it's more morally ambiguous or poorly worded. That's the nature of making videos. But I don't think anything compares to how bad those were. And I think that the only reason to bring them up when talking about current day Daft would be to poison the well.
Okay, see, I disagree because the porn video in particular has not been publicly addressed as far as I can tell, anywhere. If you fuck up publicly, you have to then correct it publicly. But Daft seems to either be resistant to that idea or incapable, and I don't know which it is. But I
believe we've talked to Jaden, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure Daft addressed it.
Okay, but that's not publicly.
I think he addressed it in a video. Actually, I would have to get it, but I believe he did address it. Not only privately, but certainly publicly. I also, again, if you want to ask Daft to apologize for a very specific thing, that's uncharitable. For a specific thing, I think it's okay to ask Daft to apologize for a specific thing. I promise you, if Daft was like here and said, hey, what about the Jaden video? He'd say, bad video. I fucked up. I don't agree with it. He doesn't agree with it.
Okay, but see, here's a lot of where my issue with Daft in this particular situation lies. Daft is in the business of calling people out for things they did long ago, sometimes things they've already apologized for. And I find it interesting, there's this seeming disconnect for maybe you, maybe Daft, where it's like, oh, you're bringing up something I did 5 years ago. I shouldn't be held accountable for that anymore. And while I do agree with that sentiment, it's not a sentiment that Daft agrees with when it comes to the subjects of their videos. So why is it okay for Daft to make videos about things people did as teenagers or 5 years ago, but when it's brought up against Daft, suddenly it's unfair?
So we're going to unpack this a little bit. One, it's the difference here with the situations. They're not exactly equatable, but do me a favor. Can you repeat the question? I just want to make sure I get it right.
All right, I'll try and just break it down into a simple question. Why is it okay for Daft to make videos on things people have done many years ago, but when Jar brings up things that Daft has done years ago, that's unfair? Why is that different?
Okay, so we're talking about the hidden hypocrisy video and in relation to the Jaden video.
No,
correct?
I'm talking in general terms.
Okay, well, I need an example of like something that was like brought up from a while ago.
Then I
Because
shall
I
just
know
go to
Hidden
Daft's
Hypocrisy
channel.
has that post, and our reasoning is that it has with Daft, it was publicly apologized for, not only with the creators, but like on Twitter and I believe in a few videos. And with James, he tried to bury it by deleting everything and then never talking about it again. Even with like the porno picture, Daft did address that. It's something he made when he was a teenager that someone tried to use to like make him look like a creepy guy.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The phrasing of that threw me for a little bit. What do you mean? Something that you're referring to the porn review video, correct?
No, I'm referring to the a while ago. Someone came out and tried to accuse Daft of drawing minors. And the Jar uses this in his video too. And the Daft did address it by saying that he was 15 when he drew it.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I'm talking specifically about the porn review video that Daft made.
Right, and I told you it was apologized for. I don't know what you want me to
Where?
say. It was. I don't have the video in front of me, and you clearly don't watch them, and that's fine.
do.
I understand.
I've watched Daft for quite a few years now.
Okay, well, I don't have it on me.
Then just say you don't know.
I could. It's not that I don't know, right?
You can't say yes. They have publicly addressed it, and then say I don't know where or when. You don't know.
I don't have it on me, but I was there when he did it. So no, I do know. I just don't have that specific evidence on me.
All right. Would you be able to provide it later?
I can try to look for it.
Okay, that's
Well, hold on.
that'll do.
Actually, hold on. If you were there,
You know what?
Hold on. I just want to mention real quick. If you were there when it happened, why don't you know what video it was in?
Listen, I am going to do something a pro likes to do, which is called concede.
Okay, cool. Can we circle back to the original question?
I'm going
gamer move. Gamer move.
I'll talk to Daff about it. I'll see if he did. You're
Gamer.
right. I couldn't possibly know. I thought about what you said. You're correct. There's no way I could know. I'll ask Daft, and if he doesn't, we'll figure something out. But that is that's a valid point.
Strat.
Can we circle back to the original generalized question as to why it's okay for Daft to talk about things people did in their past, but it's unfair when it's brought up against Daft? I just want to know what the difference between those two things are.
One is okay. I got to think about the videos that this could apply to and the context of those videos. But usually, speaking in a general term, when I bring up someone's past to talk about how they are today, it's to show a pattern of behavior or something along those lines. I don't feel like Jar does that because his examples are like stuff from 5 years ago and then like one video. Well, actually, no, he brings up Young Don, Antunes, and all that, and I haven't talked about those yet. That's a long rabbit hole. But no, I think the Antunes, from my perspective, I think the Young Don video, the Antunes video, and the Ethereum video were perfectly fair. And I don't see a pattern of going into someone's past so that they look like an idiot today.
Chat.
I don't know. The way that it's framed by Jar just feels like really uncharitable, and I feel like the way that Jar thinks it like fits, I don't see it that way. I feel like they're different.
Yeah, but the thing is, her question is, why is it okay when Daft does it? I mean, he brought up something from James that James did over 6 years ago.
Yes, patterns.
What's the pattern there?
Just James deleting stuff and hiding from it and never addressing it. And if I'm not mistaken, now I don't want to be held on that one because I would have to go rewatch that video again. I watched it last night, but I watched it last night, but right now, the exact of what happened at what part, I don't want to misrepresent. That makes sense.
Okay, I think I understand what you're trying to say. Fair enough.
Can I actually ask you a question in
Sure.
return? What do you think of Jar's video?
I did watch it. I'm kind of neutral on it. I don't really care one way or the other. Actually, the only thought I had about it was when Jar mentioned Thuman's friends being snakes. How dare you? I'm Thuman's friend. But yeah, I don't really have any strong opinions on it one way or another.
Wait, you're a friend of Thuman's? Oh
Yes.
God, Mally, I'm getting nervous now.
I'll cancel you.
People get nervous around Mally regardless, so that's not really much of a point.
Yeah, Mally's
Sorry,
pretty
sorry.
scary.
I was going to ask something
Go off, Queen.
to follow up on what Mally said, because the point kind of sizzled out after a point, and I don't know whether that was intentional or not. But if Daft's able to bring up stuff to call out a pattern of behavior, how come it's not okay when someone else does that for Daft to show that his pattern of behavior?
I don't think that Jar shows a pattern of behavior. That's my problem.
I'm not
if you were to do this, if you were to bring up a pattern of behavior that Daft has partaked in using these examples and showing that it's been consistent, that's fine. I don't think Jar did that. That's my problem.
So would you say that it's just that Jar's video is bad, or that there isn't a pattern at all?
If there is a pattern, I think Jar does a bad job showing it.
That's a little bit of a... I'm not gonna lie, that's a bit of a weaselly answer.
Okay, if you want me to be more serious, I don't think there's a pattern in my own opinion.
Okay.
And if I'm proven wrong, I'm willing to concede. But I don't, in my opinion, in what I've seen as someone who's watched his content forever, I don't think that there is a pattern. And if anything, I've noticed that Daft has gotten way better since I first met him around the time, I think after, it was around the time he, like, had the Jaden videos up, but, like, shortly before he deleted them. So I knew Daft when the Jaden videos were around. I was in calls with him, him, and Pufferfish played video games. So when I say that Daft doesn't stand by those videos, it's because I was there when he deleted them. I was there when he apologized
may I
for
just
them.
break in real quick? Because we can't seem to get the generalized answer of why it is okay for Daft to do this, but not others. When you talk about Daft deleting videos and whatnot, you say that as a good thing. And yet when it comes to James deleting something that happened 6 years ago in private between a friend, that's bad?
When... What? Why is it laughing? Sorry.
The chats. I'm sorry.
I'm
gonna mute myself.
You're gonna have to forgive me here too. I'm a lot of question, a lot of think.
Lio.
My like I said, the generalized answer is it is okay, but in this instance, Jar's bad research doesn't show a pattern.
See, I feel you're missing the actual question again. I'm asking directly on this specific instance now because we couldn't get the generalized one down. Why is it okay for Daft to bring up that 6 years ago private friend thing, but it's not okay for us to talk about public videos that Daft has made?
Okay, you are allowed to talk about public videos Daft has made, and the reason why that was okay is because he was going into his past content and showing that there have been some oopsies with racial sensitivity, and we've showed that as you know what, at this point I don't know how well I can answer that question.
Creepy.
Okay, maybe
do you think I could come back to you? Like, could I think this over a little bit? You give me some stuff to think about.
How about when we debate about this another day?
We'll debate that more another day.
Reconvene.
But Rabbit has been very patiently waiting for their turn.
Wait, what? Oh, okay.
You're up.
Hi, sorry, I forgot to unmute. So basically, I had some questions regarding because I'll be honest, I don't like DAF. I haven't
I'm
liked them since their
I'm
dated
going to have to
video.
leave here very shortly, so apologize.
Okay, no worries.
That's fine.
Well, then would it be okay for me to ask you some questions in private? Because one of the things is I've been planning on making a video and I want a DAF's perspective, but then there's just a lot
Okay.
of things regarding DAF.
Okay. Yes, you
Sure.
can ask me questions in private.
Yeah, just I sent out a friend request if you want to accept
No
that.
worries.
I'll just instead I'll just go to my main point then.
I think I accepted it. You're Neko, right?
Oh, she's gonna be insulted by that. Oh, she's going to be so mad. No, it's just that I feel like that a lot of this could be helped if there was maybe a stream Q&A or possibly just an update video regarding all their past controversies.
Yes.
Because when it comes to the point, it's just like, especially in the situation with James, where they don't address their situation. For me, I see James not addressing it as it's a situation, it wasn't handled properly, and there isn't really much that is needed from the fans specifically that they need to know about. Or
Right.
frankly, it's not their business. And I feel like in the same way in a situation for DAF, it's none of the fans' business to know what's going on. But then that also leaves it open for people to continue to speculate and wonder, leaving it very suspicious on DAF's part. Same thing on these other people who try to hide their past. So people are going to speculate. And if Jar's video is bad for speculation, then it's also just like, what is going to be done because DAF hasn't made a proper video addressing their past controversies that could help answer these. If they don't like their past being brought up, then anybody who tries to make an attempt at criticizing them, he could just be like, you know what? Here's a video that covers everything. Make a bit of
Okay.
video.
Mind if I just intercept with one thing?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You say that Daft doesn't like the past being brought up. That isn't true, right? I'm saying in this instance that I don't like that how he's using these posts.
Mm-hmm.
So if Daft doesn't like it, I'm sure that would be a great thing to do, and that's potentially something worth discussing. But in this instance, in this call, in this debate, I believe Jar didn't use these clips in a good way. That's why they're being criticized.
But then when it comes to I understand where you're coming from, though when it comes to specifically Jar, it is hard to prove that they are acting in bad faith and not just making a mistake, falling into a thought trap or something along those lines where it's just honestly they didn't think things through, or as we've seen in the call, they just missed a bunch of information that wasn't readily available or that they didn't even know that there was available at all. And from their knowledge, when they made their video, they were speaking from all the information they thought they had.
Right, but when you're an influencer, it's your responsibility to make sure you get that information. And Jar, this entire time, had the ability to get that information and chose not to. And that's the thing. The stuff that he's looking for a lot of the time is public. It's just he gets his information from other videos and then just kind of takes it at face value without necessarily looking into them. And that's why we're here today, because there's, like I said, there's been a lot of videos on Daft, and I'm pretty sure Jar has watched a few of them, and some of them were made by crazy people, which has infected the content a little bit. This specific takedown.
I mean, I completely understand when it comes to certain individuals.
Jar's 100,000 subscribers and also was friends with Daft. He has more ability to get information than most people. Probably more than Leo.
Though I do have to wonder, do you know how close Daft and Jar were words? Because then it may have been just a thing where it's just would have been that appropriate to even approach them. I completely agree. If it was me in that situation, I would have gone and asked Daft of these questions myself, especially if it was easily available by being friends on Discord.
Right.
But then it's just a matter
Well,
of...
I mean, there wasn't any bad blood, as far as I'm aware. Jar just if Jar wants to correct this, I don't think there was any bad blood 2 years ago. And they were public friends, and whenever me and Daft make a video on someone, we usually reach out to the person we're making a video on, whether it be Antunes, Ethereon, Tina Fate, which we did even make a video on.
Wait. I thought Ethereon wasn't reached out to.
I'd have to check. But
Yeah.
most of the time we do. I cannot confidently say Ethereon, but we did reach out to Tina Fate.
Okay. Well, let me just say this, I know you have to get going, but and we'll have the discussion about the odd ones out and whatever else you want to bring up
in the sequel.
The sequel.
Yeah, in the squeakquel, yes. You can I would appreciate if you sent me the topics we're going to talk about beforehand so I can gather info on it.
I can send you a jar if you want.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you very much. I want to make it clear I don't hate Daft, and I'm probably more chummy with Antunes than anyone else in this call. The dude legitimately frustrates me on a daily basis.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. He frustrates all of us.
Let me just say this. I told Antunes, if you were just a little bit more reasonable with people, the drama wouldn't have gotten as bad. It's just maybe it could be part of the language barrier. I don't know, but it's he sounds like. Huh?
Do you remember Nilsy? I'm sorry, Nils. Call me Nil.
Call me Nil.
Yeah, they told me how they were friends with Antune, and just in general, the majority, if not everything they say, is just purposely to make people pissed off. Even stuff as saying someone's faking their grooming is just to get a rise out of people. They are not someone that is worth any time.
I know, but I'm okay, Antunes, you can't piss people off, then be shocked that people are pissed off at you. I've been trying to, I will say,
it's not a good idea to go into Antunes because it makes me think but Antunes is a really hard person to defend, and you do say that the Antunes video was the final straw that made you make a video on Daft.
Well, it wasn't Antunes that I said it was the final straw, but
let's see here.
It was Young Don, and
you say Young Don too, but you also say Antunes. 335 mentions that the final straw was Daft going after Antunes and Ethereon art. No. In Jar's own words, that's when I could no longer hold my own tongue.
Yes, that was the word. That's what I said.
Okay, so we're not going to get back into full debate, so we can again pick that up later. But you guys are getting long in the tooth again, and Opal has been waiting very patiently for her turn to say something.
No, Opal doesn't get this. I'm just kidding.
I agree with that.
Shut the fuck
That was supposed
up.
to be my last question, but sure, we can do one more.
Sorry.
Creepy, can I find out something disagreeable and debate you because I want more content?
Yes, let's do it. I don't care. Let's do it.
I'm down.
Okay,
all right.
I will DM you.
Okay, why don't you and I I'm sorry, debate.
I will debate anyone in this call.
All right, I'll debate you.
Okay.
But,
anyways,
I'm gonna leave. I gotta leave.
Okay, well, before you
I gotta go.
Well, before you go, I just want to say, the call got heated at some points. I think you were one of the more reasonable people I've debated over my time, which is not a high bar to jump over. I hope we can talk more about this.
Easy goals.
Easy goals.
And I'm more than happy to correct any misinformation in my Daft video, because I don't
appreciate that you're open to it.
Yeah, and I think the best case of this is I do want Daft to publicly address some things, and we can talk more about that. But I don't have a throbbing hate boner for the guy, but I will say all the times I've been backstabbed by people in the CC in the last 2 years has also made me very distrusting of people in this community in general, especially the junkie stuff. And I think that...
Can I ask a question? Would you, based on today's debate, would you be willing to change at least the title from Biggest Liar? Because I really feel like that's an exaggeration.
Okay, but I guess because obviously
I really don't think he's the biggest liar. Maybe
obviously John Swan. I mean, we can
either John Swan or Kuro the Wolf.
That's a big lie right there.
Would adding a question mark help?
Bro, Kira the Wolf was innocent. Those were Russian super.
Here's a good title. Here's a
Iranian
good title.
super hackers. Iranian.
How about worst critic?
Okay.
That's
how
the
about
blocker.
All right, Creepy, you gotta go. All right. Yeah, first Senate Super Slammers. That was
Aw, no peanut gallery.
no peanut gallery. We're done. No, we're done. I'm stopping the stream right now. I'm stopping the stream. This is
All right,
cancer.
please.